Tonight, we'll be drifting through the peaceful world of Ash Ketchum's legendary journey from a small-town dreamer to a competitor in the Grand Indigo League. Find a comfortable position, let your breathing slow, and allow your mind to wander as we explore the gentle rhythm of adventure, friendship, and growth across the Kanto region. From humble beginnings in Pallet Town to the electric bond with a rebellious Pikachu, every moment will guide you deeper into rest. There's no need to focus too hard on every detail. Just let the soft cadence of this timeless story carry you along, as trainer and Pokémon discover what it truly means to journey together. In the quiet town of Pallet, where morning mist clings to laboratory windows and the scent of oak trees fills the air, a 10-year-old boy named Ash Ketchum sleeps through the most important alarm of his life. The sun has already begun its lazy climb over the rooftops, painting the sky in soft pastels. But Ash remains curled beneath his covers, dreaming perhaps of the Pokémon adventures that await him. His room is a shrine to his obsession, walls covered in posters of legendary creatures and championship battles, a testament to years of longing for this single day when he would finally receive his first Pokémon partner. The frantic pounding on his door comes far too late. His mother Delia's voice carries both amusement and concern as she calls through the wood, reminding him that Professor Oak's laboratory opened hours ago. The traditional ceremony, where new trainers select their starter Pokémon, has already concluded without him. By the time Ash tumbles from his bed, still tangled in pajamas decorated with tiny Pokéballs, his three choices have vanished into the hands of other, more punctual trainers. Bulbasaur, with its patient grass-type strength, Charmander with its fierce fire-type spirit, and Squirtle with its cool water-type reliability, all gone to trainers who understood the importance of waking up on time. Professor Oak's laboratory feels different in the aftermath of the morning's excitement. The elderly researcher, his lab coat pristine despite decades of working with sometimes volatile Pokémon, regards Ash with a mixture of sympathy and mild disapproval. The spacious room, filled with humming machinery and the gentle sounds of Pokémon in their habitats, seems almost empty now. Oak explains the situation with his characteristic blend of kindness and scientific precision, his weathered hands gesturing toward the empty Pokéball pedestals where the starter Pokémon had waited just hours before. But fate, it seems, has other plans for young Ash Ketchum. In a corner of the laboratory, behind protective glass that buzzes with electrical warning signs, sits a single Pokéball. Oak's expression grows thoughtful as he retrieves it, explaining that this particular Pokémon is somewhat problematic. Electric-type Pikachu, he notes, are known for their stubborn independence and occasional aggressive tendencies toward trainers they don't respect. This one in particular has already shocked 3 different handlers and shows no signs of becoming more cooperative. Oak's warning comes gently but firmly as he hands Ash the ball. This partnership will require patience, understanding, and perhaps more than a little courage. The moment Ash releases Pikachu from its Pokeball, the laboratory fills with the soft yellow glow of an irritated electric mouse. Pikachu's black-tipped ears twitch with annoyance, its red cheek pouches crackling with barely contained electrical energy. The creature's dark eyes regard Ash with unmistakable disdain, as if measuring him and finding him entirely inadequate. When Ash reaches forward with the enthusiasm of a child meeting his first Pokémon, Pikachu responds with a measured shock that sends the boy tumbling backward, his hair standing on end and his body tingling with residual electricity. The message is clear. Respect must be earned, not assumed. Professor Oak, unfazed by this display, proceeds with the ceremonial presentation of tools that will define Ash's journey. The Pokédex, a remarkable device the size of a small book, contains the accumulated knowledge of every documented Pokémon species. Its red casing gleams under the laboratory lights as Oak explains its function as both encyclopedia and companion, capable of identifying any Pokémon Ash might encounter and providing crucial information about their behaviors, habitats, and abilities. The device represents years of research and countless hours of fieldwork by trainers who came before. A digital library of wonder that fits comfortably in a young trainer's palm. Alongside the Pokédex comes 6 empty Pokéballs, their red and white surfaces polished to perfection. Oak handles them with reverence as he explains their function, how they can capture wild Pokémon and provide them with comfortable homes while forging bonds between species. Each ball represents potential, the possibility of friendship with creatures beyond imagination. They feel surprisingly light in Ash's hands, their weight belying the enormous responsibility they represent. With these simple spheres, a trainer can build a team, create a family, and pursue dreams that stretch beyond the horizon. The ceremony is interrupted by the arrival of Gary Oak, the professor's grandson and Ash's longtime rival. Gary enters the laboratory with the confidence of someone who has never overslept for anything important in his life, flanked by a small crowd of admirers and cheerleaders who hang on his every word. His starter, Pokémon, already secured and apparently well bonded, rests comfortably in its luxury Pokéball, a stark contrast to Ash's still crackling Pikachu. Gary's smile carries the weight of superiority as he surveys Ash's disheveled appearance and problematic partner, offering condescending advice about the importance of punctuality and proper preparation. The rivalry between the boys has deep roots, stretching back through years of childhood competition and academic achievement. Gary has always been the golden child, excelling in Pokémon theory classes and earning Professor Oak's visible pride with his encyclopedic knowledge of type matchups and breeding techniques. His departure from Pallet Town comes with fanfare, a red convertible loaded with supplies and supporters, while Ash watches from the laboratory steps with growing determination. The contrast is stark and intentional, the prepared versus the spontaneous, the celebrated versus the overlooked. But Ash's journey begins not with celebration, but with quiet resolve. As Gary's convoy disappears down the winding road that leads away from Pallet Town, Ash sets out on foot with only Pikachu for company. The electric mouse refuses the comfort of its Pokéball, preferring to maintain its distance by walking several feet behind its reluctant trainer. This creates an odd procession through the peaceful streets of their hometown, past the familiar houses where Ash has spent his entire life, toward the wilderness that represents everything unknown and exciting about the world beyond. The early hours of their partnership unfold with stubborn silence. Pikachu shows no interest in Ash's attempts at conversation, responding to friendly overtures with electrical warnings and pointed indifference. When Ash tries to demonstrate proper Pokémon catching techniques using a wild Pidgey, Pikachu observes with obvious skepticism, as the bird Pokémon easily evades capture and retaliates with a sand attack that leaves Ash spitting dirt and questioning his readiness for trainer life. The lesson is humbling but necessary, a reminder that enthusiasm alone cannot substitute for experience and wisdom. The forest path grows darker as clouds gather overhead, and the first drops of rain begin to fall through the canopy above. What starts as a gentle shower quickly intensifies into a proper storm, with thunder rolling across the sky and lightning illuminating the twisted branches of ancient trees. Ash and Pikachu take shelter beneath a broad oak, both soaked and shivering as the tempest rages around them. It's in this moment of shared misery that something begins to shift between them, a recognition that they are, for better or worse, companions in this adventure. The attack comes without warning. A flock of angry Spearow descending from the storm clouds with territorial fury. These fierce bird Pokémon, their brown and white feathers bristling with aggression, have apparently taken offense to the presence of intruders in their domain. Ash finds himself running through the forest, slipping on wet leaves and dodging the sharp beaks and talons of his pursuers, while Pikachu struggles to keep pace despite its obvious exhaustion. The chase becomes desperate as the Spearow multiply, their harsh cries echoing through the trees like battle songs. When Ash stumbles and falls, his body positioned protectively over Pikachu's smaller form, time seems to slow. The Spearow circle overhead, preparing for a final attack, while the electric mouse stares up at its trainer with something approaching surprise. Here is this human boy, barely more than a child himself, willingly placing his own safety at risk to protect a Pokémon who has shown him nothing but contempt and resistance. The gesture is pure and selfless, asking for nothing in return, offering everything without condition. Pikachu's response comes from somewhere deeper than training or instinct. The electrical energy that has been building throughout the storm, amplified by the atmospheric conditions and emotional intensity, releases in a brilliant cascade of lightning that illuminates the entire forest. The Thundershock attack is unlike anything the small Pokémon has produced before. A supercharged burst of power that sends the Spearow fleeing in all directions, their aggressive cries replaced by sounds of retreat and submission. The display is both beautiful and terrifying. Nature's own fireworks show painted across the storm-darkened sky. In the aftermath, as the thunder fades and the rain begins to gentle, Ash and Pikachu regard each other with new understanding. The electricity still crackles faintly around Pikachu's cheeks, but now it feels warm rather than threatening, like the glow of a fireplace on a cold evening. Their bond has been forged not through commands or expectations, but through mutual protection and shared vulnerability. This is the true beginning of their journey together, not the formal ceremony in Professor Oak's laboratory, but this quiet moment of recognition in a storm-washed forest. As they emerge from the trees, both trainer and Pokémon exhausted but somehow closer than before. The clouds part to reveal a sight that stops them in their tracks. High above, silhouetted against the clearing sky, a magnificent bird Pokémon soars on wings that seem to catch and reflect every ray of sunlight. Ho-Oh, the legendary phoenix, glides across their vision like a living symbol of hope and renewal. Its appearance feels intentional, a blessing on their newly formed partnership, a promise that greater adventures await those brave enough to pursue them. The legendary Pokémon disappears as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind only the memory of golden feathers and impossible beauty. But its presence lingers in the air like a whispered promise, suggesting that this journey, which began with oversleeping and rebellion, might lead to encounters beyond imagination. Ash and Pikachu stand together in the clearing, no longer trainer and reluctant partner, but friends united by shared experience and mutual trust, ready to face whatever wonders and challenges the road ahead might bring. The path to Viridian City stretches before them, winding through peaceful meadows where wild Pokémon graze in the late afternoon sun. Pikachu no longer maintains its stubborn distance, instead walking close enough to Ash that their shadows blend together on the dusty road. The storm has passed, taking with it the last remnants of their mutual suspicion, leaving behind the clean, fresh air of new beginnings and the gentle rhythm of footsteps marking the start of a legendary journey. The road to Viridian City leads through landscapes that seem painted with watercolors, where gentle hills roll beneath an endless sky and streams babble their way toward distant oceans. It is on this peaceful route that fate introduces the companions who will define Ash's journey. Though their first meeting comes wrapped in the chaos of twisted metal and wounded pride, a bicycle lies crumpled beside the path, its bright orange frame twisted beyond repair, while nearby a young girl with fiery red hair surveys the damage with a mixture of disbelief and growing anger. Misty Waterflower stands amid the wreckage of her transportation, her hands on her hips and her green eyes flashing with indignation as she processes what has happened to her beloved bicycle. The machine had been her constant companion through countless training sessions and fishing expeditions, its sturdy frame carrying her across the waterways of Cerulean City, where she learned the art of water Pokémon training. Now it resembles modern sculpture more than functional equipment, courtesy of Pikachu's supercharged electrical attack during the Spearow incident. The yellow mouse sits nearby, looking appropriately sheepish but still crackling with residual static from its earlier display of power. The confrontation begins with all the subtlety of a Gyarados in a swimming pool. Misty's voice rises above the gentle sounds of the countryside as she demands compensation for her loss, her finger pointing accusingly at both Ash and his electric partner. She speaks with the authority of someone who has spent years around water Pokémon, her knowledge evident in the casual way she discusses the cost of professional bicycle repairs and the difficulty of finding replacement parts in rural areas. Her anger is justified but not cruel, the righteous indignation of someone who has been genuinely wronged rather than mere petulance. Ash finds himself in the uncomfortable position of owing a debt he cannot immediately repay, his wallet containing little more than the modest allowance Professor Oak provided for his journey. The bicycle's destruction was an unintended consequence of Pikachu's heroic intervention, but good intentions rarely pay for damaged property. Misty's solution is both practical and persistent. She will accompany them on their journey, she declares, until Ash can somehow replace what was lost. Her tone suggests this is not a request, but a statement of fact, delivered with the confidence of someone accustomed to getting her way. The arrangement begins awkwardly, with Misty trailing behind Ash and Pikachu like a determined shadow, muttering occasional complaints about the unfairness of the situation and the inadequacy of young trainers who let their Pokémon run wild. Her presence changes the dynamic of their small group, adding a voice of experience and criticism that keeps Ash honest about his limitations. She carries herself with the poise of someone who grew up around Pokémon battles, her movements quick and decisive, her eyes constantly scanning their surroundings for signs of water Pokémon or potential trouble. As they walk, Misty begins to reveal glimpses of her expertise, pointing out subtle signs in the landscape that indicate the presence of water types nearby. She explains the migratory patterns of Goldeen during spawning season, the way Psyduck behavior changes before rainstorms, and the territorial markers that seeking leave to claim stretches of river. Her knowledge runs deep and practical, gleaned from years of hands-on experience rather than textbook study. Despite her initial antagonism, she finds herself offering advice almost unconsciously, her natural instincts as a trainer overriding her personal grievances. The Pokémon Center in Viridian City rises from the landscape like a beacon of comfort and safety, its distinctive red roof and white walls immediately recognizable to any trainer. Nurse Joy greets them with the warm professionalism that has made her family legendary throughout the Kanto region, her pink hair perfectly arranged and her smile genuine despite the late hour. The center buzzes with quiet activity, the soft hum of healing machines mixing with the gentle sounds of Pokémon recovering from battles and adventures. Pikachu submits to examination with unusual docility, perhaps understanding that these humans mean only to help. It is within the center's peaceful environment that the true threat to their journey reveals itself, though it arrives disguised as incompetence rather than malice. Team Rocket's first appearance comes cloaked in the bumbling personas of Jesse and James, two individuals whose criminal ambitions far exceed their actual capabilities. They infiltrate the Pokémon Center wearing stolen Nurse Joy and Chansey costumes, their disguises so obviously fraudulent that only the most trusting soul could be fooled. Their plan, such as it is, involves stealing the center's Pokémon while the real staff sleeps, but their execution lacks any semblance of subtlety or skill. Jessie carries herself with theatrical grandeur, her purple hair flowing dramatically as she declares their villainous intentions in a voice trained for stage performance rather than criminal activity. Her background as a failed actress bleeds through in every gesture, every carefully rehearsed line of dialogue that sounds more like audition material than genuine menace. She speaks of Team Rocket's goals with the passion of someone reciting poetry, her words painting pictures of a world where they stand triumphant over captured Pokémon and defeated trainers, though reality rarely cooperates with her dramatic vision. James provides the perfect complement to Jesse's bombast, his aristocratic upbringing evident in his polished accent and refined mannerisms even as he commits petty crimes. His blue hair gleams under the center's fluorescent lights as he fumbles with stolen equipment, his hands more accustomed to teacups than lockpicks. There is something almost tragic about his fall from wealth to criminality, a story of family expectations and personal rebellion that led him to Team Rocket's questionable embrace. His genuine affection for Pokémon often conflicts with his criminal duties, creating internal contradictions that undermine their missions. But the true surprise among this criminal trio comes in the form of Meowth, a normal-type Pokémon who has achieved the impossible by learning human speech. His ability to communicate bridges the gap between species in ways that should revolutionize the world. Yet he uses this miraculous gift primarily to deliver sarcastic commentary and recite team mottos. His Brooklyn accent adds an oddly endearing quality to their grandiose declarations, while his small size and cat-like mannerisms create constant physical comedy as he struggles to keep pace with his human partner's schemes. Their first battle against Ash unfolds with all the chaos and confusion that will define their future encounters. Jessie's Ekans slithers forward with serpentine grace, its purple and yellow coils rippling as it prepares to strike, while James's coughing hovers ominously, its spherical body pulsing with contained poison gas. These Pokémon possess genuine skill and power, making it all the more frustrating that their trainers consistently squander their potential through poor strategy and worse timing. Pikachu's electric attacks prove effective against both opponents, though victory comes more through luck than tactical brilliance. The defeat sends Team Rocket blasting off into the distance, their bodies silhouetted against the star-filled sky as they disappear into the night with characteristic dramatic flair. Their retreat is accompanied by promises of return and revenge, threats delivered with such theatrical intensity that they almost seem like parting gifts rather than genuine menace. This pattern will repeat countless times throughout Ash's journey, Team Rocket appearing like a recurring storm cloud, brief but intense, always threatening but rarely truly dangerous. The morning after brings departure from Viridian City and entry into the mysterious realm of Viridian Forest, where ancient trees tower overhead like cathedral pillars, and filtered sunlight creates shifting patterns on the forest floor. The air carries the rich scents of earth and growing things, mixed with the subtle musk of wild Pokémon moving through their natural habitat. This forest serves as a living classroom, where beginning trainers learn fundamental lessons about Pokémon behavior, ecosystem balance, and the delicate relationships that bind all creatures together. It is here, among the dappled shadows and gentle rustling of leaves, that Ash encounters his first wild Pokémon capture opportunity. The Caterpie appears almost timid as it inches along a moss-covered branch, its green segmented body adorned with bright orange spots that serve as both warning and identification. Its large black eyes regard the approaching trainer with curiosity rather than fear, perhaps sensing the gentleness in Ash's approach. The capture itself unfolds with surprising ease, the bug-type Pokémon offering little resistance as the Pokéball draws it inside with a soft red glow. The moment marks a milestone in Ash's development as a trainer, his first successful capture achieved through patience rather than force. Caterpie emerges from its ball with obvious friendliness, its simple nature making it an ideal first Pokémon for an inexperienced trainer. The creature's ability to trust so readily speaks to something pure in its character, an innocence that mirrors Ash's own optimistic worldview. Misty's reaction to the bug type proves less enthusiastic, her discomfort with insect Pokémon creating the first glimpse of her personal limitations and fears. The forest's canopy opens occasionally to reveal clear patches of sky where flying-type Pokémon soar in lazy circles, riding thermals with effortless grace. Among them, Pidgeotto stands out with its cream and brown plumage and keen predatory instincts that mark it as a formidable hunter despite its relatively common status. Ash's attempt to capture this aerial hunter requires more strategy than his success with Caterpie, the bird Pokémon's natural wariness and superior mobility, making it a challenging opponent for a trainer still learning basic battle tactics. The capture battle unfolds with Caterpie serving as Ash's primary weapon, the little bug type's limited moveset proving barely adequate against Pidgeotto's aerial superiority and sharp talons. String Shot creates temporary obstacles that slow the bird's movements, while Tackle provides the only offensive option available to the grounded insect. The battle teaches valuable lessons about type matchups and tactical thinking, forcing Ash to consider positioning and timing rather than relying solely on direct confrontation. Victory, when it comes, feels earned rather than lucky. Pidgeotto's integration into the team brings new dynamics and possibilities, its flying ability opening up reconnaissance options, while its proud nature demands respect from its trainer. The bird Pokémon carries itself with quiet dignity, acknowledging Ash's authority without surrendering its independent spirit. Its presence changes the team's composition from purely ground-based to mixed terrain capability, an evolution in tactical options that will prove invaluable in future challenges. The forest holds more lessons still, as Caterpie's evolution into Metapod occurs with surprising swiftness following a brief encounter with Team Rocket's continued incompetence. The transformation represents nature's most fundamental miracle, the reshaping of one form of life into another through processes both mysterious and beautiful. Metapod's hardened green shell provides defense at the cost of mobility, creating a Pokémon that embodies patience and endurance rather than active aggression. Its evolution teaches Ash about the different phases of a Pokémon's development and the need to adapt training methods to each stage. The encounter with the samurai trainer becomes legendary among those who witness it, though perhaps not for the reasons anyone intended. This young trainer, dressed in traditional armor and carrying himself with the bearing of an ancient warrior, challenges Ash to a battle that quickly devolves into an endurance contest between two Metapod. The rigid shells provide perfect defense against each other's limited attacks, creating a stalemate that stretches on with comedic persistence, as neither Pokémon can make meaningful progress against its opponent. What should have been a quick demonstration of skill becomes a lesson in patience and perseverance. The two trainers standing in the forest clearing as their Pokémon engage in the most passive battle in competitive history. The samurai's respect for tradition and proper form clashes with Ash's impatience and desire for dynamic action, creating philosophical tensions that mirror the tactical stalemate occurring between their Pokémon. The battle becomes a meditation on different approaches to training and the various paths that can lead to mastery. The intervention of Wild Beedrill transforms the educational stalemate into genuine crisis, as a swarm of aggressive poison and bug-type Pokémon descends upon the clearing with territorial fury. These sleek yellow and black insects represent nature's efficient killing machines, their drill-like stingers capable of injecting toxins that can incapacitate much larger opponents. Their arrival sends both trainers scrambling for cover, while their Metapod find themselves in genuine peril despite their hardened defenses. It is in this moment of crisis that Ash's Metapod undergoes its final transformation, evolution sparked by the need to protect itself and its trainer from overwhelming odds. The emergence of Butterfree from its rigid cocoon marks the completion of a natural cycle, the patient caterpillar finally achieving its destined form as a beautiful and capable butterfly Pokémon. Its wings shimmer with iridescent patterns as it takes to the air, its graceful flight a stark contrast to the aggressive buzzing of the attacking Beedrill swarm. Butterfree's first battle proves its worth as both protector and team member, its sleep powder creating clouds of soporific spores that send the Beedrill into peaceful slumber rather than defeating them through violence. This gentle resolution to a potentially deadly situation reflects Butterfree's nature as a Pokémon more inclined toward harmony than conflict, its powers designed to incapacitate rather than harm. The butterfly's success in this baptism of fire cements its place in Ash's heart and establishes patterns of creative problem-solving that will define their partnership. As the forest adventure concludes and the group prepares to continue toward Pewter City, the bonds between trainer and Pokémon have deepened through shared challenge and mutual protection. Misty watches these developments with growing interest, her initial annoyance at being trapped in their company gradually giving way to genuine curiosity about Ash's unorthodox but effective training methods. Her bicycle remains unrepaired, but her investment in their journey has begun to shift from mere financial necessity to something approaching friendship. The road to Pewter City winds through terrain that grows increasingly rocky with each passing mile, where rolling hills give way to craggy outcroppings and the soft earth beneath their feet gradually hardens into stone. Ancient geological forces have shaped this landscape over millennia, creating a natural fortress where rock-type Pokémon thrive among the granite cliffs and boulder-strewn valleys. The air carries the distinct mineral scent of weathered stone, and the distant sound of wind whistling through natural caves carved by centuries of patient erosion. Pewter City itself emerges from the rocky landscape like an organic extension of the earth, its buildings constructed from the same gray stone that forms the surrounding hills. The architecture speaks of permanence and endurance, walls built to withstand both time and the powerful attacks of the rock-type Pokémon that call this region home. Streets, paved with fitted stone, create pathways that seem to flow naturally around massive boulders, too large or sacred to move, while gardens of hardy mountain plants add splashes of green to the mineral palette that dominates the cityscape. The Pewter Gym stands as the city's crown jewel, a structure that embodies the very essence of rock-type training philosophy. Its walls rise like natural cliff faces, constructed from blocks of stone so perfectly fitted that no mortar appears between them. Windows are small and strategically placed, designed to let in light while maintaining the fortress-like integrity that protects both trainers and Pokémon during intense battles. The building radiates strength and stability, qualities that any rock-type specialist must embody to succeed in this demanding field of Pokémon training. Within these stone walls, 15-year-old Brock Harrison tends to his Pokémon with the gentle touch of someone who understands that beneath every rocky exterior lies a heart capable of both great strength and surprising tenderness. His appearance reflects his dual nature as both warrior and caretaker, his spiky brown hair and sturdy build speaking to his connection with powerful rock types, while his soft eyes and careful movements reveal the nurturing spirit that drives his true passion for Pokémon breeding. He moves through the gym with quiet efficiency, checking on injured Pokémon and ensuring that each member of his team receives the individual attention necessary for peak performance. The tragedy of Brock's situation becomes apparent only gradually, revealed through small details that paint a picture of premature responsibility and abandoned dreams. His parents, Flint and Lola, departed Pewter City years ago in pursuit of their own ambitions, leaving their eldest son to care for 9 younger siblings while maintaining the family's gym leadership responsibilities. The weight of these obligations sits heavily on Brock's shoulders, his natural desire to nurture and care for living things channeled into both Pokémon training and surrogate parenthood for brothers and sisters who barely remember their absent mother and father. The gym's interior reflects this complex dynamic, with training equipment sharing space with household necessities and Pokémon habitats arranged around the practical needs of a large family. Brock has created an environment where his siblings can safely observe battles while staying out of harm's way, their excitement at watching their big brother's matches tempered by the understanding that gym leadership is both privilege and burden. The younger Harrison children regard Brock with a mixture of admiration and protective concern, sensing that his dreams extend far beyond the stone walls that currently confine him. Ash's first gym battle unfolds with all the confidence of youth confronting the wisdom of experience. Pikachu's electric-type attacks rendered completely ineffective against Brock's ground and rock-type Pokémon. The type disadvantage proves insurmountable as Onix, Brock's massive serpentine partner, shrugs off electrical assaults that would devastate most opponents. The Rock Snake Pokémon's sheer size and defensive capabilities create an almost impenetrable barrier, its stony hide deflecting attacks, while its tremendous strength threatens to overwhelm Ash's small team through pure physical dominance. The battle serves as a humbling lesson in both type matchups and strategic planning, Ash's enthusiasm proving insufficient against Brock's methodical approach and superior defensive positioning. Geodude's combination of bulk and offensive power complements Onix's more defensive role, creating a wall of rock and earth that Ash's current team cannot breach through conventional means. The defeat stings not just because it represents failure, but because it exposes the gaps in Ash's knowledge and preparation that experience must slowly fill. In the aftermath of defeat, Ash retreats into the wilderness surrounding Pewter City, his pride wounded and his confidence shaken by the thoroughness of his loss. The rocky terrain that seemed merely challenging during their approach now feels actively hostile, every stone and cliff face serving as a reminder of his inadequacy against rock-type opponents. Pikachu shares his trainer's frustration, the usually energetic electric type subdued by the memory of attacks that accomplished nothing against opponents who barely acknowledged their impact. It is in this moment of despair that fate intervenes in the form of Flint, a grizzled man whose appearance suggests years of hard living and difficult choices. His clothing bears the stains of honest labor, while his hands show the calluses that come from working with both stone and Pokémon. He approaches the dejected trainer with the easy confidence of someone who has seen countless young hopefuls face their first serious defeats, his manner neither condescending nor overly sympathetic as he assesses Ash's situation and potential. Flint's training methods prove both unconventional and effective, focusing not on raw power but on understanding the fundamental nature of rock-type weaknesses and how to exploit them through creative thinking rather than brute force. He demonstrates techniques for enhancing Pikachu's speed and agility, showing how quick movements and precise positioning can overcome defensive advantages through superior tactics. His approach emphasizes patience and observation, teaching Ash to study his opponent's patterns and identify brief moments of vulnerability that can be leveraged into victory. The mysterious trainer's knowledge runs deeper than mere battle tactics, his understanding of Pokémon psychology and motivation revealing itself through subtle observations about Ash's relationship with his team. He speaks of the bonds between trainer and Pokémon as living things that must be nurtured through trust and mutual respect, concepts that extend far beyond the simple command structures that less experienced trainers often mistake for genuine partnership. His lessons carry the weight of hard-earned wisdom, each piece of advice backed by years of practical application and careful observation. The revelation of Flint's true identity comes during Ash's rematch with Brock, when the older man's familiar features and mannerisms finally click into place for those observant enough to notice the subtle resemblances between father and son. His presence at the battle carries emotional weight that extends far beyond mere spectatorship, representing a father's return to witness his son's strength, while simultaneously preparing to resume responsibilities long abandoned. The complexity of their relationship plays out in glances and subtle gestures, years of separation and hurt compressed into moments of wordless communication. The rematch itself unfolds with dramatic intensity, as Ash applies the lessons learned through Flint's guidance, Pikachu's enhanced speed and tactical awareness, allowing it to find openings in Onix's seemingly impenetrable defense. The battle showcases the growth that comes from accepting defeat and learning from failure. Each successful attack representing hours of training and careful analysis of rock-type behavior patterns. The gym's sprinkler system activation adds an unexpected element that transforms the battlefield conditions, creating the moisture that allows electric-type attacks to conduct more effectively through Onix's rocky hide. But victory achieved through environmental advantage rather than pure skill sits uneasily with Ash's developing sense of sportsmanship, his innate fairness rebelling against success that feels unearned, despite its technical legitimacy. The moment when he forfeits the match, despite having a clear path to victory, demonstrates the kind of character growth that separates true champions from mere winners. His willingness to sacrifice personal advancement for the sake of honor, revealing the depth of his moral development. This gesture resonates powerfully with Brock, whose own ethical standards have been shaped by years of caring for both family and Pokémon. Brock's decision to award the Boulder Badge despite the forfeit reflects his recognition of qualities that transcend mere battle prowess, his respect for Ash's sportsmanship and genuine care for Pokémon marking the beginning of a friendship that will endure through countless adventures. The badge itself, a small piece of polished stone shaped like a boulder, represents more than just progress toward the Indigo League. It symbolizes the foundation of strength that comes from doing the right thing, even when personal cost is involved. This lesson in integrity becomes one of the most valuable gifts Ash receives during his entire journey. The emotional reunion between Brock and Flint unfolds with the awkward intensity of a relationship complicated by years of abandonment and unfulfilled responsibility. Flint's explanation for his departure rings hollow against the reality of 10 children, raised primarily by their eldest brother, while his promises of future reliability must compete with the evidence of past failures. Yet Brock's capacity for forgiveness and understanding allows him to accept his father's return without the bitterness that might consume someone less generous of spirit, his joy at the prospect of freedom from gym duties overriding his justified anger at years of premature responsibility. The transfer of gym leadership back to Flint creates space for Brock to pursue his true passion for Pokémon breeding, a field that combines his natural nurturing instincts with scientific knowledge about genetics, nutrition, and optimal care practices. His decision to join Ash and Misty represents a leap of faith into an uncertain future, trading the security of familiar responsibilities for the risks and rewards of pursuing personal dreams. The choice demonstrates the kind of courage that defines all great trainers, the willingness to venture into unknown territory in service of a greater calling. Brock's integration into the traveling party brings new dynamics and capabilities, his expertise in Pokémon care and nutrition proving invaluable for maintaining team health during extended journeys. His Onyx and Geodude add significant defensive power to their roster, while his calm demeanor and practical wisdom serve as counterbalances to Ash's impulsiveness and Misty's occasional temper flare-ups. The trio creates a balanced unit where each member's strengths compensate for the other's weaknesses, forming the foundation of a partnership that will endure through countless challenges and adventures. The journey toward Cerulean City takes them through Mount Moon, a location shrouded in mystery and legend where the boundary between the natural and supernatural seems thin. The mountain's caves extend deep into the earth, creating a labyrinthine network where sound echoes strangely and shadows dance in the flickering light of their torches. Ancient stories speak of this place as sacred to Clefairy, the fairy-type Pokémon, whose moonlight dances have been observed by generations of travelers lucky enough to witness their nocturnal celebrations. The caves themselves tell the story of geological forces that shaped the region over millions of years, their walls embedded with fossils and mineral formations that speak to ages when the area lay beneath ancient seas. Moonstones, rare evolutionary catalysts that glow with inner light, can occasionally be found in the deepest chambers, their presence adding to the location's reputation as a place where normal rules of nature bend before older, more mysterious forces. The atmosphere carries an almost electric quality, as if the stones themselves emanate energy that influences both Pokémon and human behavior. Brock's expertise proves invaluable in navigating these treacherous passages, his knowledge of cave systems and rock formations, allowing the group to avoid the most dangerous routes while maximizing their chances of encountering the region's unique Pokémon inhabitants. His ability to read geological signs and predict cave stability prevents several potential disasters, while his understanding of how different Pokémon species adapt to underground environments helps them prepare for encounters with cave and rock-type species that call these tunnels home. The discovery of Team Rocket's mining operation deep within Mount Moon reveals a more sinister side to the location's legend, their mechanical excavation disrupting ancient ecosystems in pursuit of moonstones for criminal purposes. The sight of Clefairy fleeing from blasting operations and heavy machinery creates a stark contrast between industrial exploitation and natural harmony, while the damage to delicate crystal formations represents years or even decades of geological artistry destroyed in pursuit of quick profit. The situation demands intervention from any trainer with a genuine respect for both Pokémon welfare and environmental preservation. The confrontation with Team Rocket in the caves takes on added intensity due to the confined space and potential for cave-ins. Every explosive attack threatening to bring tons of rock down upon all participants in the battle. Brock's knowledge of structural engineering proves crucial in avoiding disaster, while the wild Clefairy's decision to aid in their own defense demonstrates the deep intelligence and community bonds that characterize this often misunderstood species. The battle's resolution through cooperation between human trainers and wild Pokémon creates a template for environmental activism that will influence Ash's approach to conservation throughout his career. Cerulean City emerges from the landscape like a jewel of blue and white, its architecture dominated by water features that range from functional fountains to elaborate decorative cascades that fill the air with the constant sound of flowing liquid. The city's design reflects its status as the heart of water-type training in the Kanto region, with canals and artificial streams creating aquatic habitats where water Pokémon can thrive even in an urban environment. Buildings incorporate swimming pools and water gardens as integral elements rather than afterthoughts, creating a seamless integration between human civilization and aquatic life. The Cerulean Gym stands as the centerpiece of this aquatic paradise, its design centered around a massive swimming facility that can accommodate battles between the largest water-type Pokémon while providing optimal viewing for spectators. The building's glass walls and open architecture create an environment where natural light filters through water to create constantly shifting patterns of blue and gold, while the sound of gently lapping waves provides a soothing backdrop for both training and competition. The facility represents the pinnacle of aquatic Pokémon battle design, every element carefully planned to showcase water-type abilities to their fullest potential. Misty's homecoming proves complicated by the revelation of her family dynamics and her sister's approach to gym leadership, their focus on theatrical performance, and synchronized swimming routines, contrasting sharply with her preference for serious competitive battling. Daisy, Violet, and Lily have transformed the gym into something resembling an aquatic circus. Their elaborate water shows prioritizing entertainment value over the kind of rigorous training that produces championship-caliber trainers. This philosophical divide creates tension that runs deeper than mere sibling rivalry, representing fundamentally different visions of what water-type training should accomplish. The sisters' casual dismissal of traditional gym battle responsibilities forces Misty into the role of defender, her pride in both her family legacy and her personal skills demanding that she represent Cerulean Gym's honor against Ash's challenge. The battle that follows showcases her considerable abilities as a water-type specialist, her Staryu and Goldeen demonstrating the kind of precise control and tactical awareness that comes from years of dedicated training. Her techniques reflect a deep understanding of aquatic combat principles, using water's properties to enhance both offensive and defensive capabilities while maintaining the fluid grace that characterizes master-level water-type training. Team Rocket's infiltration of the gym during the battle creates chaos that transforms a formal competition into an emergency rescue operation. Their attempt to steal the facility's Pokémon threatening both the creature's safety and the structural integrity of the aquatic systems that maintain their habitat. The crisis demands cooperation between Ash and Misty, their temporary rivalry set aside in favor of protecting innocent Pokémon from harm. The successful resolution of the emergency earns Ash the Cascade Badge, not through victory in battle, but through demonstration of the heroic qualities that define true championship material. The aftermath of the crisis brings deeper understanding between Ash and Misty, their shared commitment to Pokémon welfare creating bonds that transcend their initial antagonistic relationship. Her decision to continue traveling with the group now stems from genuine friendship and shared goals, rather than mere financial obligation, though the matter of the replacement bicycle remains a running joke that will follow them throughout their adventures. The transformation from reluctant creditor to trusted companion represents growth for both trainers, their different approaches to Pokémon care and battle strategy, creating a synthesis that makes both stronger than they could be alone. The road between Cerulean City and Vermilion winds through diverse landscapes that showcase the remarkable variety of Kanto's ecosystems, from dense woodlands, where grass-type Pokémon thrive in dappled sunlight, to open meadows, where the air shimmers with the heat that fire types crave. It is along this meandering path that fate conspires to present Ash with opportunities that most trainers only dream of, chances to partner with the very Pokémon that represent the foundation of every trainer's journey. The starter Pokémon that he missed on that fateful morning in Professor Oak's laboratory would come to him in their own time and in their own unique ways, each carrying stories of hardship and hope that would deepen his understanding of the bonds between humans and Pokémon. The hidden village reveals itself slowly, like a secret garden emerging from behind curtains of emerald leaves and flowering vines. Ancient trees tower overhead, their branches forming a natural canopy that filters sunlight into gentle green rays that dance across paths worn smooth by countless tiny feet. The air carries the rich scent of growing things and the subtle musk of wild Pokémon living in perfect harmony with their environment. This place exists as a sanctuary for abandoned and injured Pokémon, a haven maintained by creatures who have learned to care for their own without human interference or guidance. At the heart of this peaceful community stands a Bulbasaur whose presence radiates quiet authority and unwavering dedication to the safety of all who dwell within the village boundaries. This grass and poison-type Pokémon has appointed itself guardian and protector, its scarred hide bearing testament to years of defending the weak against those who would exploit their vulnerability. Its eyes hold the wisdom that comes from responsibility, willingly accepted, while its vine whips remain ever ready to strike down any threat that might disturb the tranquil paradise it has sworn to maintain. The initial encounter between Ash and this remarkable Bulbasaur unfolds with all the tension of a diplomatic summit, each side carefully measuring the other's intentions and capabilities. The Guardian's distrust of human trainers runs deep, born from witnessing too many instances of Pokémon abandoned when they cease to be useful or entertaining. Its protective instincts create an almost palpable barrier around the village, a wall of suspicion that has kept the sanctuary safe, but isolated from the wider world, where humans and Pokémon might learn to trust one another. Ash's approach to earning Bulbasaur's trust reflects the growth in his character since leaving Pallet Town, his initial impulse toward direct confrontation, tempered by growing wisdom about the complexity of Pokémon emotions and motivations. Instead of demanding battle or attempting to capture through force, he demonstrates his commitment to Pokémon welfare through small acts of kindness and genuine concern for the village's inhabitants. His patience in building relationships rather than simply asserting dominance reveals the kind of maturity that transforms a Pokémon trainer from a collector of powerful creatures into a true partner and friend. The test of Ash's character comes not through formal battle but through crisis, when the sanctuary faces a threat that overwhelms even Bulbasaur's considerable protective abilities. Team Rocket's mechanized assault on the hidden village represents everything the Guardian has learned to fear about human nature, their callous disregard for Pokémon welfare confirming the worst suspicions about trainer motivations and methods. The situation demands intervention from someone willing to risk personal safety for creatures that offer no immediate benefit or reward, a demonstration of heroism that transcends mere self-interest. The battle to defend the village unfolds with desperate intensity, as Ash and his team stand alongside Bulbasaur against overwhelming technological superiority, their organic abilities pitted against machines designed to capture and subdue any Pokémon regardless of their wishes or welfare. The conflict tests not just battle skills but moral character, forcing each participant to choose between personal safety and the protection of innocent creatures who cannot defend themselves against human exploitation. Victory comes not through superior firepower, but through the kind of coordinated effort that emerges when different species unite behind a common cause. In the aftermath of the crisis, Bulbasaur's decision to join Ash's team represents a leap of faith that extends far beyond simple gratitude for assistance rendered. The Guardian's choice to leave the sanctuary reflects its recognition that the wider world contains humans worthy of trust and partnership, individuals whose commitment to Pokémon welfare matches its own dedication to protecting the innocent and vulnerable. This joining of forces creates a partnership based on shared values rather than mere convenience, establishing patterns of mutual respect that will define their relationship through countless future adventures. The abandoned Charmander discovered along a rocky outcropping presents a heartbreaking tableau of loyalty, betrayed, and trust shattered beyond easy repair. The small fire-type Pokémon maintains its vigil on the stone, where its former trainer promised to return, its tail flame flickering weakly as exhaustion and starvation take their toll on a body designed for vitality and strength. Rain has soaked through its normally warm orange hide, while the chill mountain air threatens to extinguish the internal fire that sustains all Charmander life, creating a crisis that demands immediate intervention if the young Pokémon is to survive. The story of Damien's callous abandonment unfolds through the testimony of local Pokémon who witnessed the trainer's casual dismissal of a partner who had served faithfully but failed to meet arbitrary standards of strength and performance. The human's decision to abandon rather than release his Charmander represents a particularly cruel form of neglect, leaving the loyal fire-type bound by promises that will never be fulfilled, while slowly dying of exposure and heartbreak. This betrayal cuts deeper than mere physical abuse, attacking the very foundation of trust that makes partnerships between species possible. Ash's rescue of the dying Charmander requires delicate handling of both medical emergency and emotional trauma. The young trainer's growing skill at Pokémon care, tested by a situation where wrong decisions could prove fatal within hours. Brock's expertise proves invaluable in stabilizing the fire-type's condition, while Nurse Joy's medical intervention addresses the physical damage caused by exposure and neglect. But healing the deeper wounds to Charmander's spirit requires patience and understanding that extend far beyond mere veterinary care, demanding a commitment to rebuilding trust that humans have proven themselves capable of destroying. The process of earning Charmander's loyalty unfolds gradually, each small gesture of care and kindness adding weight to the argument that not all humans share Damien's callous disregard for Pokémon welfare. Ash's refusal to give up on the damaged fire type, even when progress seems impossible, demonstrates the kind of persistence that separates true partners from mere collectors of powerful creatures. His willingness to invest time and effort without guarantee of return speaks to character growth that transforms him from an impulsive child into someone capable of shouldering the real responsibilities that come with Pokémon. Partnership. Charmander's integration into the team brings new dynamics and capabilities. Its fire-type attacks filling tactical gaps, while its fierce loyalty, once earned, proves unshakable, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The formerly abandoned Pokémon's gratitude expresses itself through absolute dedication to its new trainer's welfare, a commitment that borders on protective obsession as it guards against any perceived threat to the human who saved its life. This intensity of emotion creates both strength and potential problems, as Charmander's need to prove itself worthy of continued partnership sometimes leads to reckless behavior that endangers both itself and others. The encounter with the Squirtle Squad introduces Ash to a different form of Pokémon abandonment, one that has transformed individual heartbreak into collective rebellion against the human society that failed to provide the care and guidance young Pokémon require for healthy development. These water-type delinquents have banded together for mutual protection and survival, their mischievous pranks and territorial behavior masking deeper needs for belonging and purpose that their original trainers failed to recognize or address. Their leader, distinguished by a pair of triangular sunglasses that have become the squad's signature accessory, carries himself with the swagger of someone who has learned to project strength as protection against further abandonment and rejection. The squad's elaborate pranks and territorial displays serve multiple functions beyond simple entertainment, establishing group hierarchy while testing the reactions of humans who enter their domain. Their techniques show genuine creativity and tactical intelligence, complex operations that require coordination and planning far beyond what most people expect from wild Pokémon. The sophistication of their schemes reveals the kind of intelligence and social complexity that humans too often overlook when they focus solely on battle prowess rather than the full spectrum of Pokémon capabilities and needs. Team Rocket's capture of several squad members creates a crisis that forces the remaining Squirtle to choose between continued isolation and cooperation with the human trainers they have learned to distrust. The situation demands courage from creatures who have been taught through bitter experience that humans cannot be relied upon in times of genuine need, while their captured comrades face exploitation by criminals who view Pokémon solely as tools for personal advancement. The rescue mission that follows becomes a test of whether trust can bridge the gap between species despite past betrayals and disappointments. The successful liberation of the captured Squirtle creates bonds forged in shared danger and mutual assistance, the kind of partnerships that transcend the usual trainer-Pokémon dynamic to become something approaching genuine friendship between equals. The squad leader's decision to join Ash reflects not just gratitude, but recognition of qualities that separate trustworthy humans from those who exploit Pokémon for selfish purposes. This choice represents hope that the cycle of abandonment and mistrust can be broken through demonstration of genuine commitment and care. The transformation of the remaining squad members from delinquents into community helpers showcases the positive potential that emerges when Pokémon are given constructive outlets for their natural abilities and desire to contribute meaningfully to society. Their new role as volunteer firefighters allows them to use their water-type abilities in service of public safety while earning the respect and appreciation of humans who previously viewed them only as troublemakers. This career change demonstrates that apparent behavioral problems often stem from lack of purpose rather than inherent bad nature, suggesting that most conflicts between humans and Pokémon arise from misunderstanding rather than fundamental incompatibility. Squirtle's integration into Ash's team brings the starter trinity full circle, completing a collection that most trainers spend years attempting to assemble through trade and careful breeding programs. But these particular starters carry emotional weight far beyond their tactical value, each representing a different aspect of the complicated relationship between humans and Pokémon, in a world where partnership is possible, but never guaranteed. Bulbasaur's protective wisdom, Charmander's loyal gratitude, and Squirtle's mischievous courage create a balanced unit that reflects the full spectrum of qualities that make Pokémon such remarkable partners for those worthy of their trust. The balance of grass, fire, and water types creates tactical advantages that extend far beyond simple type coverage. Their different approaches to problem solving and conflict resolution, providing Ash with options for nearly any situation he might encounter. More importantly, their diverse backgrounds and personalities challenge him to become a more flexible and understanding trainer, someone capable of recognizing and nurturing the unique qualities that each individual brings to their partnership. This growth in empathy and adaptability prepares him for the greater challenges that await as his journey continues toward the Indigo League and beyond. The addition of Krabby during this period introduces the concept of Pokémon storage and rotation, the practical reality that trainers must sometimes limit their active roster while maintaining bonds with all their partners, regardless of current battle status. Professor Oak's ranch provides sanctuary where Pokémon can live freely while remaining connected to their trainer's journey, a system that allows for specialization and rest without the permanent separation that formal release entails. This glimpse into the broader ecosystem of professional training reveals the infrastructure that supports serious competitive efforts while maintaining the welfare of all Pokémon involved. The transfer of Krabby to Oak's care creates emotional complexity, as Ash grapples with the realization that successful training sometimes requires difficult choices about team composition and individual attention. The water type's immediate departure to the ranch prevents the bonding that occurs with active team members, creating questions about the nature of partnership when physical presence cannot be maintained. These concerns reflect growing maturity in Ash's understanding of trainer responsibilities. His recognition that caring for Pokémon extends beyond simply collecting as many species as possible. The early signs of evolution pressure within the team begin to manifest as Charmander's fiery nature starts asserting itself more aggressively, the fire type's growing confidence expressing itself through increased independence and occasional defiance of direct orders. These behavioral changes foreshadow the challenges that will emerge as loyal gratitude transforms into something more complex and potentially difficult to manage. The relationship between trainer and Pokémon must evolve along with the creatures themselves, adapting to new capabilities and personalities that emerge through the growth process that defines all living beings. Brock's expertise in Pokémon development proves invaluable in understanding and managing these early warning signs, his breeding knowledge providing insight into the natural processes that drive behavioral change in evolving species. His ability to read the subtle signs of impending evolution allows the team to prepare for transitions that might otherwise create confusion and conflict, while his understanding of individual Pokémon psychology helps maintain bonds, even as personalities shift and develop. This guidance reflects the value of experience and education in successful training, qualities that complement natural talent and intuitive understanding. The philosophical questions raised by gathering the traditional starter trio extend beyond mere team composition to touch on deeper issues of fate, choice, and the mysterious forces that guide trainer-Pokémon relationships toward their optimal configurations. The conventional wisdom suggests that compatibility between trainer and starter Pokémon should be determined through careful analysis and professional guidance. Yet Ash's unconventional path has led him to partners whose dedication and abilities match or exceed anything that formal selection processes might have provided. This success challenges assumptions about the predictability of successful partnerships while affirming the importance of remaining open to unexpected opportunities and connections. The approach to Vermilion City unfolds across coastal plains, where salt-tinged air carries the sounds of crashing waves and crying wingull, the landscape gradually transforming from inland meadows to sandy dunes, dotted with hardy beach grass that bends gracefully before ocean winds. The city itself emerges as a bustling port, where massive cargo ships discharge their holds, while smaller fishing vessels return with their daily catches, creating a symphony of maritime industry that speaks to humanity's ancient relationship with the sea. Electric cables snake between towering poles throughout the urban landscape, carrying the power generated by the city's famous electric-type gym and distributing it to the industries and homes that depend on reliable electrical service. Vermilion Gym stands as a monument to both military discipline and electrical engineering, its concrete walls, scarred by countless high-voltage training sessions, while its interior hums with the constant flow of current through sophisticated conditioning equipment. Lieutenant Surge, the gym's imposing leader, has created an environment that reflects his background as both soldier and electric-type specialist, combining the regimented precision of military life with the raw power that defines his chosen Pokémon type. His presence fills every corner of the facility, from the perfectly aligned training equipment to the battle arena where surge protectors and circuit breakers stand ready to handle the massive electrical discharges that characterize serious electric-type competition. The lieutenant himself embodies the intimidating fusion of human authority and electrical power, his massive frame adorned with military insignia, while his booming voice carries the authority of someone accustomed to commanding both troops and thunderbolts. His philosophy of training emphasizes raw power over subtlety, believing that overwhelming electrical force can overcome any tactical disadvantage through sheer brute strength. This approach has produced a succession of victories against trainers who mistake finesse for effective strategy, their careful techniques crumbling before the devastating assault of properly conditioned electric types operating at maximum output. Raichu, Surge's primary partner, represents the evolutionary endpoint that many trainers consider the natural destiny of any serious electric-type Pokémon. Its orange and brown form radiating the kind of contained power that comes from years of intensive conditioning and electrical enhancement. The evolved form of Pikachu demonstrates capabilities that dwarf its pre-evolution counterpart, generating electrical attacks with the intensity of natural lightning while maintaining the speed and agility that make electric types such formidable opponents. Its presence in the gym serves as both inspiration and warning, showing visiting trainers what their own electric types might become, while demonstrating the consequences of facing such overwhelming power without adequate preparation. The initial battle between Pikachu and Raichu unfolds with devastating swiftness, the smaller electric type's attacks barely registering against an opponent whose evolved status provides both superior offensive capabilities and enhanced defensive resilience. The type advantage that should theoretically create an even match dissolves before the raw statistical superiority that evolution provides, leaving Pikachu struggling to maintain consciousness, while Raichu demonstrates the casual dominance that comes from operating several evolutionary stages ahead of its opponent. The defeat serves as a harsh lesson in the mathematics of Pokémon combat, where individual skill and determination must still contend with the fundamental advantages that biological development provides. In the aftermath of this crushing defeat, the question of evolution hangs heavy in the air between Ash and Pikachu, the Thunderstone's potential transformation offering a path to power that might level the playing field in any potential rematch. The evolutionary catalyst sits nearby like a glowing promise, its electrical energy resonating with Pikachu's own internal current while offering the kind of immediate advancement that many trainers would eagerly embrace. The decision represents more than mere tactical consideration, touching on fundamental questions about identity, natural development, and the relationship between power and personal authenticity that define the deepest aspects of trainer-Pokémon partnerships. Pikachu's refusal of evolutionary transformation speaks to character depths that transcend mere stubborn pride, representing a choice to face challenges through personal growth and determination, rather than surrendering individual identity for increased power. The electric type's decision to remain in its current form while seeking victory through enhanced technique and conditioning demonstrates the kind of principled commitment that separates true champions from those who merely accumulate superior statistics through artificial enhancement. This philosophical stance requires matching commitment from its trainer, demanding that Ash find ways to maximize Pikachu's potential within its chosen limitations, rather than pursuing the easier path of evolutionary advancement. The training regimen that follows Pikachu's decision combines physical conditioning with tactical innovation, focusing on speed enhancement and precision targeting, rather than attempting to match Raichu's overwhelming power through direct confrontation. Brock's knowledge of Pokémon physiology proves invaluable in developing exercises that push Pikachu's natural abilities to their absolute limits, while avoiding the kind of overexertion that could result in permanent injury. The process requires patience and dedication from both trainer and Pokémon, each incremental improvement representing hours of focused effort, rather than the instant gratification that evolutionary shortcuts might provide. The rematch with Lieutenant Surge unfolds with dramatically different dynamics, as Pikachu employs enhanced speed and agility to avoid Raichu's devastating attacks, while seeking opportunities to exploit the evolutionary Pokémon's unexpected weaknesses. The smaller electric type's superior mobility allows it to create tactical advantages through positioning and timing, using the battle arena's layout to force engagements on favorable terms while avoiding the kind of direct confrontations that favor raw power over strategic thinking. The victory, when it comes, validates the principle that determination and clever tactics can overcome statistical disadvantages when applied with sufficient skill and courage. The Thunder Badge earned through this triumph represents more than mere progress toward league qualification, symbolizing the victory of personal principles over convenient shortcuts, while demonstrating that individual character can overcome even significant disadvantages through persistent effort and creative problem-solving. Lieutenant Surge's grudging respect for both trainer and Pokémon reflects his recognition that true strength encompasses more than mere power output, acknowledging the kind of warrior spirit that refuses to compromise its essential nature, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. The interlude involving James's ill-fated Magikarp purchase provides comic relief while illustrating important lessons about the relationship between perceived value and actual potential in Pokémon partnerships. The salesman's pitch expertly exploits common misconceptions about weak Pokémon while playing on James's desire to contribute meaningfully to Team Rocket's perpetually failing schemes, creating a transaction that satisfies everyone involved until reality intrudes upon carefully constructed illusions. The Golden Magikarp's obvious fraudulent nature becomes apparent only after money changes hands, revealing the dangers of making partnership decisions based on surface appearances rather than genuine understanding of individual capabilities. James's growing frustration with his seemingly useless purchase reaches its breaking point when the Magikarp's complete inability to perform even basic functions becomes impossible to ignore, its flopping helplessness serving as a daily reminder of poor judgment and wasted resources. The decision to abandon the water type reflects the kind of callous disregard for Pokémon welfare that characterizes Team Rocket's approach to partnership, treating living creatures as disposable tools rather than individuals deserving of care and respect. This abandonment sets in motion evolutionary processes that will demonstrate the consequences of underestimating any Pokémon's potential for growth and transformation. Gyarados' emergence from the discarded Magikarp creates immediate crisis as the newly evolved water and flying type's rage focuses on the humans responsible for its abandonment and mistreatment, its serpentine form writhing with fury, while its massive jaws snap with the power to crush small boats. The transformation from pathetic flopping fish to terrifying sea serpent demonstrates evolution's capacity for dramatic reversal of fortune, while the creature's obvious anger serves as a pointed reminder that Pokémon possess emotional depths that demand respect and consideration from any trainer wise enough to value genuine partnership over mere exploitation. The Gyarados' rampage through the local waterways creates environmental chaos, while forcing all nearby trainers to confront the consequences of irresponsible Pokémon handling, its destruction serving as object lesson in the importance of treating all creatures with dignity, regardless of their apparent limitations or unusual characteristics. The situation demands intervention from trainers mature enough to recognize that the creature's anger stems from legitimate grievance rather than inherent malice, requiring approaches that address underlying emotional damage rather than simply attempting to overwhelm superior physical capabilities through force. The resolution of the Gyarados crisis through understanding and patience rather than violent confrontation establishes patterns of conflict resolution that will serve Ash well in future encounters with misunderstood or mistreated Pokémon. His growing ability to see beyond surface behavior to underlying motivations marking significant development in his skills as both trainer and mediator. The sea serpent's eventual departure to wild freedom represents healing for both the creature and those who learned from witnessing the consequences of treating Pokémon as disposable commodities rather than living individuals, deserving of respect and care. Butterfree's departure from the team creates the first genuine heartbreak of Ash's journey. The graceful bug and flying type's decision to pursue love and natural reproduction, forcing difficult confrontations with the temporary nature of all partnerships between humans and wild creatures. The pink Butterfree's appearance during mating season triggers instinctive behaviors that transcend trained loyalty, reminding everyone involved that Pokémon possess biological imperatives and emotional needs that extend far beyond their roles as battle companions or treasured friends. The farewell scene unfolds with poignant beauty as Ash recognizes that true love sometimes requires letting go of what we treasure most. His decision to release Butterfree, demonstrating emotional maturity that prioritizes his partner's happiness over his own desire to maintain their bond. The butterfly Pokémon's grateful acknowledgement of this sacrifice speaks to the depth of understanding that can develop between species when relationships are built on genuine care rather than mere possession or control. Creating memories that will endure long after physical separation makes reunion impossible. The journey towards Saffron City takes the group through urban landscapes, where towering skyscrapers create artificial canyons, while neon signs flicker with advertisements for products and services that cater to the complex needs of modern trainer society. The metropolitan environment presents new challenges and opportunities, its dense population creating both anonymous freedom and constant observation, while the presence of numerous other trainers adds competitive pressure that rural areas rarely impose. The city's energy feels different from smaller communities, more intense and demanding while offering resources and experiences unavailable in simpler settings. Saffron Gym emerges from the urban maze as an architectural monument to psychic power and mental discipline, its crystalline surfaces and impossible geometric angles suggesting dimensions of reality that extend beyond normal human perception. The building itself seems to pulse with barely contained psychic energy, creating atmospheric disturbances that sensitive individuals can feel as pressure changes or temperature fluctuations that have no apparent physical cause. The structure serves as both training facility and meditation retreat, designed to enhance psychic abilities while providing sanctuary for those whose mental gifts isolate them from mainstream society. Sabrina's presence within these psychic chambers radiates the kind of power that makes normal humans instinctively uncomfortable, her abilities extending far beyond simple telepathy or telekinesis into realms of reality manipulation that challenge fundamental assumptions about the nature of existence itself. Her childhood isolation, resulting from uncontrolled psychic manifestations, has created personality disorders that blur the boundaries between sanity and madness, while her desperate need for human connection conflicts with abilities that make normal relationships virtually impossible to maintain. The gym leader's habit of transforming visitors into dolls reflects both her desire for companions who cannot abandon her and her fundamental misunderstanding of what genuine friendship requires. Her psychic powers, creating the illusion of relationship while destroying the autonomy that makes real connection possible. The dollification process represents ultimate control over others, while simultaneously ensuring that such control eliminates everything that makes relationships meaningful, creating a tragic cycle where the pursuit of connection guarantees continued isolation. Ash's initial battle against Sabrina's Abra unfolds with bewildering swiftness as the psychic type's evolution into Kadabra mid-fight demonstrates the kind of spontaneous development that occurs when powerful psychic energies reach critical thresholds during moments of intense focus. The newly evolved Pokémon's enhanced abilities overwhelm Pikachu's electrical attacks through pure psychic force, lifting and manipulating the electric type like a toy, while demonstrating the complete futility of physical resistance against properly developed mental powers. The defeat sends Ash's team fleeing toward Lavender Town in search of ghost-type assistance, the conventional wisdom suggesting that spectral Pokémon possess natural resistance to psychic manipulation that might level the playing field in any future confrontation. The journey to this mysterious community introduces new atmospheric elements, as mountain mists create ghostly veils, while ancient cemeteries hint at the thin boundaries between life and death that characterize regions where ghost types thrive in natural abundance. Lavender Town itself exists in perpetual twilight, its narrow streets winding between weathered headstones while fog drifts constantly through thoroughfares that seem designed more for spirits than living humans. The community has adapted to coexistence with ghost-type Pokémon over generations, its residents displaying the kind of casual acceptance of supernatural phenomena that would terrify visitors from more conventional locations. The atmosphere encourages whispered conversations and careful movements, as if loud sounds or sudden gestures might disturb forces better left undisturbed. The haunter encountered in Lavender's shadowy corners embodies the playful malice that characterizes many ghost types, its purple gaseous form shifting constantly, while its disembodied hands gesture with theatrical flair that suggests intelligence combined with mischievous intent. This particular specimen shows immediate interest in Ash's predicament, perhaps recognizing kindred spirit in someone facing seemingly impossible odds while maintaining optimism despite overwhelming disadvantages. The ghost's decision to assist stems from curiosity rather than altruism, its desire to witness and participate in interesting events overriding any concerns about potential consequences. The return to Saffron Gym with Haunter as ally creates expectations of tactical advantage that dissolve when the ghost type abandons the battle in favor of entertaining Sabrina through harmless pranks and playful teasing, its priorities shifting from combat assistance to social interaction without warning or explanation. This apparent betrayal forces Ash to face Kadabra alone, with only Pikachu as support, creating exactly the kind of hopeless situation that the Lavender Town expedition was meant to prevent. But Haunter's apparent desertion proves to be inspired strategy, as its gentle pranks and silly faces gradually penetrate Sabrina's emotional barriers, coaxing laughter from someone who has forgotten how to experience joy without the complications that psychic power inevitably creates. The sound of genuine mirth breaks whatever psychological chains have bound the gym leader's humanity beneath layers of protective isolation, restoring her connection to simple pleasures while demonstrating that healing sometimes requires playfulness rather than confrontation or force. The transformation that sweeps through Saffron Gym as Sabrina rediscovers her capacity for happiness reverses the dollification effects while restoring her mother and other victims to their natural forms, the positive psychic energy overwhelming whatever dark forces maintain the supernatural prison. This resolution demonstrates that some problems cannot be solved through battle or conquest, requiring instead the kind of emotional healing that comes from genuine human connection and the courage to be vulnerable despite past experiences that justify defensive isolation. The Marsh Badge earned through this unique victory represents triumph over psychological rather than physical challenges, acknowledging Ash's growing ability to see beyond surface conflicts to underlying emotional needs, while recognizing that true strength sometimes means choosing compassion over conquest. Sabrina's gratitude extends beyond mere badge presentation to encompass recognition of someone who helped restore her connection to humanity, creating bonds of mutual respect that transcend the usual gym leader-challenger dynamic. Haunter's decision to remain in Saffron as Sabrina's companion rather than continuing the journey with Ash reflects the ghost type's recognition that its playful nature serves essential therapeutic function for someone whose isolation has created profound emotional damage. This parting represents growth in Ash's understanding that Pokémon partnerships serve many purposes beyond battle assistance, sometimes requiring sacrifice of personal desires to ensure that individual needs receive appropriate attention and care. The path from Saffron City leads through landscapes where the boundary between urban development and natural wilderness blurs into something resembling harmony. Ancient forests, reclaiming abandoned districts, while carefully maintained parks preserve pockets of green tranquility within the metropolitan sprawl. The air carries mixed scents of blooming flowers and distant industry, creating an olfactory tapestry that speaks to humanity's ongoing negotiation with the natural world that sustains all life. These transitional zones serve as reminders that civilization and nature need not exist in opposition, that careful planning and genuine respect can create environments where both humans and Pokémon thrive in sustainable balance. Lavender Town's perpetual mist creates an otherworldly atmosphere as the group passes through its narrow streets on their way toward new adventures. the fog seeming to carry whispers of ancient stories while shadows move in ways that suggest presence without revealing form. The community's acceptance of supernatural phenomena extends beyond mere tolerance to encompass genuine appreciation for the mystery and wonder that ghost-type Pokémon bring to daily life, their residents moving through spectral encounters with the casual ease of people who have learned to find beauty rather than fear in the unknown. This comfortable coexistence between the living and the departed creates a template for understanding that difference need not breed conflict when approached with open minds and generous hearts. The legendary Pokémon Tower rises from Lavender's center like a monument to memory and respect, its ancient stones bearing the weight of countless farewell ceremonies, while providing sanctuary for spirits who choose to linger near the world they once inhabited. Each floor tells stories of Pokémon whose lives touched human hearts in ways that transcend the simple boundaries of ownership or partnership, creating a vertical library of love that speaks to the profound bonds possible between species when approached with genuine care and understanding. The tower serves as both memorial and teaching institution, its quiet chambers offering lessons about the precious nature of all life, while encouraging visitors to treasure their current relationships rather than taking them for granted. The reverent atmosphere within these sacred halls encourages whispered conversations and careful movements, as if the accumulated love and grief contained within these walls deserves acknowledgement and respect from those still blessed with living companions. Ash's passage through the tower deepens his appreciation for the temporary nature of all partnerships, while strengthening his resolve to make every moment with his team count for something meaningful and lasting. The experience serves as counterpoint to the competitive focus that drives most trainer journeys, reminding him that victory and defeat matter less than the bonds forged along the way. Celadon City emerges from the landscape like a garden paradise, where nature and architecture blend so seamlessly that distinguishing between natural growth and human design becomes nearly impossible. Flowering vines cascading down building walls, while rooftop gardens create aerial meadows that house communities of grass-type Pokémon. The urban planning reflects decades of careful consideration for both human needs and environmental sustainability, creating spaces where fresh air and natural beauty remain accessible, even within dense metropolitan development. The city's commitment to green living extends beyond mere aesthetic choice to encompass genuine philosophy about the interconnectedness of all living things. The Celadon Gym stands as the masterpiece of this botanical architecture, its glass walls and living roof, creating an indoor ecosystem where grass-type Pokémon can demonstrate their abilities within environments that showcase their natural beauty and ecological importance. Sunlight filters through layers of leaves to create constantly shifting patterns of green and gold, while the sound of flowing water and gentle breezes through grass creates a natural symphony that soothes both trainers and Pokémon preparing for battle. The facility represents the pinnacle of environmentally conscious design, proving that human ambition and natural preservation can coexist when guided by wisdom and genuine respect for the world that sustains all life. Erica's presence within this verdant sanctuary radiates the calm authority of someone who has spent years learning to work with natural forces rather than attempting to dominate them through technological superiority or brute strength. Her approach to grass-type training emphasizes patience and understanding, recognizing that plant-based Pokémon operate according to different rhythms and priorities than the more aggressive species that dominate competitive battling. Her techniques focus on creating optimal growing conditions while allowing each individual to develop according to its own nature, resulting in teams that possess both formidable power and serene confidence in their abilities. The gym leader's philosophy extends beyond mere training methodology to encompass broader questions about humanity's relationship with the natural world, her gentle guidance encouraging visiting trainers to consider their impact on the environments they pass through during their journeys. Her battles serve as educational experiences rather than simple tests of strength, each encounter designed to demonstrate the subtle complexity and surprising power that characterize properly nurtured grass-type partnerships. The lessons learned within her gym's peaceful chambers often prove more valuable than the badges earned through victory, their influence extending far beyond immediate tactical advantages. The crisis that transforms routine gym challenge into emergency rescue operation arrives with the acrid smell of smoke and the orange glow of flames consuming the building's living walls. Team Rocket's latest scheme having escalated beyond mere theft into genuine environmental disaster. Their reckless use of fire-based attacks within a structure composed largely of living plant material creates a conflagration that threatens not only the Pokémon housed within the facility, but also the decades of careful cultivation that have created this unique ecosystem. The situation demands immediate action from anyone present, transforming visitors from challengers into emergency responders, united by shared commitment to preserving life, regardless of personal risk. Ash's response to the crisis demonstrates his growing maturity as both trainer and human being, his immediate focus shifting from personal advancement to preservation of innocent life, while coordinating with Erica's staff to ensure systematic evacuation of all threatened Pokémon. The rescue effort requires courage that extends beyond battlefield bravery to encompass the kind of selfless dedication that risks everything for others without promise of recognition or reward. His willingness to enter burning buildings in search of trapped Pokémon speaks to character development that places moral obligation above personal safety, marking another step in his evolution from ambitious child to responsible adult. The successful rescue of Erica's gloom from smoke-filled chambers creates bonds of gratitude that transcend the usual challenger-leader dynamic, the grass-type's survival dependent entirely upon Ash's courage and determination to save lives regardless of danger to himself. This act of heroism demonstrates the kind of character that separates true champions from mere collectors of victories. His instinctive response to crisis revealing values that prize life above all other considerations. The rainbow badge earned through this display of moral courage carries greater significance than any won through conventional battle, representing recognition of qualities that define greatness in human character rather than simply Pokémon training skill. The aftermath of the fire brings deeper understanding between Ash and Erica, their shared experience of loss and recovery, creating connections based on mutual respect rather than competitive opposition, while the damaged gym's restoration becomes a community project that demonstrates the healing power of collective effort guided by common purpose. The rebuilding process showcases the resilience of both natural systems and human communities when supported by genuine care and commitment. New growth emerging from ashes to create something even more beautiful than what existed before the destruction. This renewal serves as metaphor for the kind of personal growth that emerges from crisis when faced with courage and determination to create positive outcomes from negative experiences. Psyduck's accidental capture through Misty's fumbled attempt to catch a different Pokémon introduces elements of comedy and confusion that will become recurring themes throughout their continued adventures. The hapless water type's unpredictable psychic abilities, creating chaos that defies conventional understanding of type matchups and battle strategy. The duck Pokémon's tendency to forget its own capabilities while displaying devastating power during moments of extreme distress creates tactical uncertainty that keeps both allies and opponents guessing about its true potential. This unpredictability transforms every battle into an exercise in adaptive thinking, forcing trainers to remain flexible when confronted with abilities that manifest without warning or apparent control. Misty's frustration with her new team member stems not from lack of affection, but from the impossibility of predicting or controlling its contributions to any given situation, creating the kind of partnership challenges that test patience while teaching valuable lessons about accepting individuals rather than trying to reshape them according to predetermined expectations. Psyduck's oblivious contentment, despite its obvious limitations, serves as a reminder that happiness and effectiveness need not correlate in ways that satisfy logical analysis, some creatures finding fulfillment through simple existence rather than ambitious achievement. This philosophy challenges conventional trainer wisdom, while demonstrating that success takes many forms beyond mere competitive victory. The introduction of Vulpix into Brock's care through his encounter with Susie represents fulfillment of long-held dreams about serious Pokémon breeding work. the elegant fire type's perfect conditioning and gentle temperament, demonstrating the kind of professional excellence that serves as inspiration for aspiring breeders throughout the region. Susie's reputation as master breeder creates opportunity for mentorship that extends far beyond simple Pokémon transfer. Her willingness to share knowledge and techniques, providing Brock with educational experiences that formal schools cannot replicate. The relationship between established professional and eager student creates dynamic that benefits both parties while advancing the overall quality of Pokémon care practices. Vulpix's integration into their traveling group adds new dimensions to both team dynamics and daily routines. The Fox Pokémon's grooming requirements and dietary preferences, demanding levels of attention and care that challenge Brock's developing skills while providing practical experience in species-specific husbandry techniques. The fire type's aristocratic bearing and refined mannerisms reflect years of expert care while serving as constant reminder of the standards that distinguish professional breeding from casual Pokémon ownership. This living example of breeding excellence inspires higher standards in all aspects of team care, while demonstrating that true partnership requires dedication extending far beyond battle preparation. The Pwn Championship Tournament emerges as unexpected opportunity for Ash to demonstrate his growing skills with fighting-type Pokémon. Despite his limited experience with this demanding and physically intensive category of partners that requires different training approaches than the more familiar types that dominate his usual roster. Primeape's participation in the competition showcases the Pigmonkey Pokémon's formidable combat abilities, while testing Ash's capacity to work effectively with partners whose aggressive tendencies and independent nature create coaching challenges that stretch his leadership skills to their limits. The tournament atmosphere crackles with competitive intensity as fighting-type specialists from across the region gather to test their training methods and partnership bonds against worthy opposition, creating an environment where technique and strategy matter as much as raw power while demonstrating the sophisticated combat arts that characterize serious fighting-type training. The diversity of approaches represented by different trainers showcases the various paths that can lead to mastery, from traditional martial arts techniques to modern conditioning methods that incorporate scientific understanding of Pokémon physiology and psychology. Primeape's victory in the championship represents triumph of disciplined training over natural aggression, the formerly uncontrollable Pokémon's ability to channel its fighting instincts through structured competition, demonstrating the transformative power of patient guidance combined with appropriate outlets for powerful emotional drives. The achievement validates Ash's unconventional approach to handling difficult partners, while proving that apparently hopeless cases can achieve greatness when provided with proper support and understanding. This success creates confidence that will serve both trainer and Pokémon well in future challenges requiring courage and determination. The decision to leave Primeape with Anthony, a fighting-type specialist capable of providing the intensive training that such a powerful combatant requires for continued development, represents another milestone in Ash's growth as responsible trainer who recognizes when his partner's needs exceed his current capabilities to provide optimal support. The choice demonstrates wisdom that prioritizes Pokémon welfare over personal attachment, ensuring that each team member receives the specialized attention necessary for reaching full potential, rather than being limited by trainer inexperience. This sacrifice reflects deepening understanding that true love sometimes requires letting go when better opportunities present themselves. The philosophical complexity of these partnership decisions weighs heavily on Ash's developing sense of responsibility, each departure forcing him to confront questions about the nature of ownership versus stewardship, while learning to balance personal desires against his partner's long-term welfare and happiness. The pattern of temporary partnerships, followed by strategic separations, creates emotional challenges that test his maturity, while teaching valuable lessons about the various forms that successful relationships can take when approached with genuine care and consideration for individual needs, rather than selfish possessiveness. Jigglypuff's recurring appearances throughout this period add elements of gentle humor while demonstrating how some Pokémon exist primarily to bring joy and comfort rather than competitive achievement. The balloon Pokémon's magical songs, creating moments of peaceful rest that interrupt the constant motion and challenge that characterize serious trainer journeys. Its indignation at audiences who fall asleep during performances creates comic situations while highlighting the different values and priorities that motivate various species, some seeking appreciation for artistic expression rather than recognition for battle prowess or utility functions. The normal type's innocent desire for applause and recognition speaks to universal needs for acknowledgement and validation that transcend species boundaries. Its persistence in seeking audiences, demonstrating the same determination that drives competitive trainers while focusing on entirely different goals and measures of success. These encounters serve as gentle reminders that the Pokémon world contains infinite variety in motivation and ambition, not all creatures finding fulfillment through the competitive structures that dominate trainer culture and league organization. Charmander's evolution into Charmeleon marks the beginning of new challenges, as the fire type's growing power combines with increasingly independent personality to create partnership dynamics that test Ash's leadership. Skills in ways that his smaller, more compliant partners never demanded. The evolutionary process brings not just physical changes but psychological transformation that requires adaptive approaches to training and communication, forcing growth in both trainer and Pokémon as they navigate the complexities of changing relationships. This development foreshadows greater challenges ahead, while providing valuable experience in managing strong-willed partners whose respect must be earned rather than simply assumed. The newly evolved Charmeleon's occasional defiance and strategic independence reflect natural processes that occur as young Pokémon mature into adults, with their own opinions about optimal tactics and appropriate responses to various situations, creating healthy tension that ultimately strengthens partnerships when handled with patience and understanding rather than authoritarian control. These growing pains serve as preparation for even more significant changes ahead, teaching lessons about flexibility and mutual respect that will prove essential when evolution brings even greater challenges to their developing relationship. The journey toward Fuchsia City leads through landscapes where ancient traditions blend seamlessly with wild nature. Mountain paths winding between hidden valleys where ninja clans once practiced their secretive arts, while poison-type Pokémon developed their deadly skills in shadowy groves far from civilization's curious eyes. The air carries subtle scents that speak of medicinal herbs growing alongside toxic plants, creating an olfactory education in the dual nature of substances that can either heal or harm, depending on knowledge, preparation, and intent. These remote regions maintain their mysterious character despite the passage of centuries, their isolation preserving secrets that more accessible areas have long since surrendered to modern development and commercial exploitation. Fuchsia City emerges from the mountain mists, like something from a feudal dream, its traditional architecture reflecting generations of ninja influence, while modern conveniences blend discreetly with ancient design principles that prioritize function over ostentation. The streets follow patterns that seem random to casual observers, but serve defensive purposes understood only by those trained in the strategic thinking that characterizes serious martial arts study, creating urban layout that can be navigated efficiently by residents, while confusing potential intruders unfamiliar with its underlying logic. The city's commitment to preserving traditional ways creates atmosphere where past and present coexist in harmony rather than conflict. The Fuchsia Gym stands as masterpiece of ninja architecture. Its deceptively simple exterior, concealing complex interior layout, designed to test visitors' adaptability and mental flexibility, while providing optimal training conditions for poison-type Pokémon who thrive in environments that challenge conventional thinking about space and movement. Hidden passages and concealed chambers create maze-like interior that serves both practical and philosophical purposes, forcing challengers to abandon linear thinking in favor of creative problem-solving that mirrors the mental agility required for successful ninja training. The facility represents centuries of accumulated wisdom about the relationship between physical environment and psychological development. Koga's presence within these shadowy halls radiates the controlled intensity of someone who has spent decades mastering arts that demand absolute precision while maintaining the kind of mental discipline that allows dangerous techniques to be employed safely and effectively. His approach to poison-type training emphasizes respect for the lethal potential of his partners, while developing the trust and communication necessary to ensure that toxic abilities serve protective rather than destructive purposes. His philosophy recognizes that poison represents nature's most sophisticated defense mechanism, requiring careful study and profound respect, rather than casual exploitation or reckless experimentation. The gym leader's battle style combines traditional ninja techniques with modern understanding of Pokémon psychology and physiology, creating tactical approaches that surprise opponents through unconventional strategies, while demonstrating the sophisticated combat arts that emerge when human martial skills integrate with Pokémon abilities. His Venomoth's hypnotic powder attacks create opportunities for psychological manipulation that transcend simple status effects, while his Golbat's supersonic abilities disorient opponents through auditory assault that disrupts both balance and concentration. These techniques require years of practice to master safely, their complexity reflecting the dedication necessary for achieving true expertise in any demanding field. Ash's victory in earning the Soul Badge comes through adaptation and persistence rather than overwhelming force. His ability to adjust tactics when faced with unfamiliar strategies, demonstrating the kind of mental flexibility that separates competent trainers from those who rely solely on memorized patterns and conventional wisdom. The battle tests not just his Pokémon's abilities, but his capacity for creative thinking under pressure, forcing him to develop new approaches when established methods prove inadequate against Koga's sophisticated defensive strategies. This experience provides valuable preparation for future challenges that will demand similar adaptability and innovative problem-solving skills. The philosophical lessons embedded in ninja training extend far beyond mere combat technique to encompass broader questions about the relationship between knowledge and responsibility, particularly when dealing with abilities that possess genuine potential for harm if misused or misunderstood. Koga's emphasis on discipline and mental control reflects recognition that power without wisdom creates danger for both wielder and innocent bystanders, requiring ethical framework that guides decision-making when faced with situations where multiple courses of action remain technically possible. These moral considerations become increasingly important as trainers develop stronger partnerships with more powerful Pokémon, whose abilities demand corresponding increases in judgment and restraint. The detour through Safari Zone introduces entirely different approach to Pokémon encounters. The preserve's unique regulations, creating an environment where capture becomes exercise in patience and observation, rather than battle-tested dominance through superior strength or tactical superiority. The restriction to Safari Balls and limited interaction time forces trainers to rely on understanding and intuition rather than the aggressive methods that characterize most wild Pokémon encounters, creating educational opportunities that emphasize respect for natural behavior patterns over human convenience or competitive ambition. Within the Safari Zone's protected boundaries, Pokémon exhibit behaviors rarely observed in more competitive environments. Their natural social structures and feeding patterns providing insight into ecological relationships that casual encounters usually obscure through fight or flight responses triggered by human presence. The preserve serves as living laboratory where trainers can study Pokémon in contexts that approximate their wild state, while still providing opportunities for partnership formation when mutual interest and compatibility align naturally, rather than through forced interaction or artificial circumstances. The encounter with Ditto presents fascinating exploration of identity and authenticity. The transformed Pokémon's inability to perfectly replicate other species, creating philosophical questions about the nature of individual identity, while demonstrating that surface appearances often mask deeper realities that casual observation cannot detect. The normal type's cheerful acceptance of its own limitations serves as a reminder that perfection need not be prerequisite for happiness or social acceptance, some creatures finding fulfillment through approximation and effort, rather than flawless execution of predetermined roles. Ditto's imperfect transformations create comic situations that highlight the difference between appearance and essence. Its attempts to mimic other Pokémon, often producing results that capture external form, while missing subtle behavioral cues and personality traits that define individual identity beyond mere physical characteristics. These failures demonstrate that authentic self-expression often proves more valuable than perfect imitation of others, teaching lessons about the importance of embracing personal strengths rather than attempting to become someone else through artificial means or superficial copying. The infamous Porygon incident introduces darker themes about the relationship between technology and natural life. The artificial Pokémon's existence within digital environments, raising questions about the boundaries between reality and simulation, while demonstrating both the potential benefits and serious dangers that emerge when scientific advancement outpaces ethical consideration and safety protocols. The normal type's unique nature as entirely artificial life form challenges conventional understanding about what constitutes natural existence while showcasing humanity's growing capacity to create rather than simply capture and train existing species. The digital world accessed through advanced computer technology presents a landscape where conventional rules of physics and biology cease to apply, creating an environment where Pokémon and trainers must adapt to fundamentally different principles governing movement, interaction, and survival itself. The experience provides a glimpse into future possibilities for Pokémon training while highlighting the importance of maintaining connection to natural environments and organic relationships that provide grounding and perspective necessary for healthy development. The contrast between digital perfection and biological messiness serves as a reminder that technological solutions cannot address all aspects of complex living systems. The encounter with wild Pikachu herd forces Ash to confront fundamental questions about his partner's true nature and deepest needs. The electric type's obvious attraction to its own species, creating emotional crisis that tests the strength of bonds formed through shared adventure and mutual care. The sight of Pikachu playing with others of its kind reveals social dimensions to its personality that human companionship cannot fully satisfy, raising difficult questions about whether trainer partnerships serve Pokémon interests or merely human desires for exotic companions and competitive success. The decision to release Pikachu, followed by its voluntary return, creates resolution that validates the authenticity of their partnership, while acknowledging that genuine relationships must be chosen freely rather than maintained through obligation or lack of alternatives. The electric type's rejection of wildlife in favor of continued adventure with Ash demonstrates that their bond transcends mere convenience or habit, representing genuine friendship that survives even when more appealing options present themselves. This mutual choice strengthens their partnership while establishing precedent for relationships based on voluntary commitment rather than practical necessity. Jigglypuff's continued appearances throughout this period add elements of gentle humor while demonstrating the persistence that characterizes truly dedicated artists who refuse to abandon their calling despite repeated disappointment, and apparent lack of appreciation from audiences who fail to understand or properly value their creative efforts. The balloon Pokémon's determination to find listeners who will remain awake during its performances speaks to universal artistic struggles while providing comic relief that prevents the journey's more serious themes from overwhelming the narrative's lighter elements. The normal and fairy type's innocent faith in the power of music to bring joy and connection creates touching moments that contrast with the competitive intensity that dominates most trainer interactions. Its simple desire for acknowledgement and applause, representing purer motivation than the complex ambitions that drive league competition and professional advancement. These encounters serve as gentle reminders that some of life's most meaningful experiences occur outside formal competitive structures, requiring only appreciation and attention rather than victory or measurable achievement. Charmeleon's growing independence manifests through increasingly frequent displays of strategic thinking that sometimes conflict with Ash's tactical preferences. The fire type's evolved intelligence creating partnership dynamics that require negotiation and compromise, rather than simple command and obedience. The dragon-like Pokémon's pride and confidence reflect natural development that occurs as young creatures mature into adults with their own opinions about appropriate responses to various situations, demanding respect for individual judgment rather than blind acceptance of trainer authority. The tension between maintaining effective team coordination while accommodating individual personality growth creates ongoing challenges that test Ash's leadership skills in ways that more compliant partners never demanded, forcing development of communication techniques that acknowledge Charmeleon's intelligence while maintaining the cooperation necessary for effective battle performance. These experiences provide valuable preparation for even greater challenges ahead, when evolution will amplify both power and independence to levels that demand fundamental changes in their relationship dynamic. The ancient Aerodactyl's awakening from fossilized slumber introduces prehistoric elements that connect present adventures to ancient history. The rock and flying type's aggressive behavior, reflecting survival instincts developed during eras when different rules governed life and death in environments far more dangerous than modern Pokémon habitats. The creature's disorientation in contemporary settings creates both comedy and pathos, as it struggles to understand a world that has changed dramatically during its long imprisonment in stone, its ancient power unchanged, but its context completely transformed. The encounter with this living fossil provides educational opportunities about Pokémon evolution and extinction while demonstrating the resilience of life forms capable of surviving across geological timescales through processes that dwarf human understanding of permanence and change. The Aerodactyl's eventual peaceful departure reflects adaptation and acceptance that allows ancient ways to coexist with modern realities when approached with patience and mutual respect, rather than fear or aggressive dominance. Charmeleon's evolution into Charizard during the confrontation with Aerodactyl represents dramatic escalation in both power and personality. Complexity: the newly evolved dragon-like Pokémon's massive size and intimidating presence, reflecting capabilities that dwarf its previous form, while introducing psychological changes that transform their partnership in fundamental ways. The fire and flying type's newfound ability to soar through skies creates freedom that diminishes its dependence on trainer guidance, while amplifying natural pride that demands recognition and respect rather than simple obedience or submission. The immediate aftermath of evolution reveals the extent to which increased power has altered Charmeleon's perspective on authority and cooperation. Its casual dismissal of Ash's commands, reflecting confidence in its own judgment that no longer requires human validation or oversight. This transformation creates crisis that threatens to destroy their partnership, while forcing both trainer and Pokémon to redefine their relationship on terms that acknowledge changed circumstances rather than clinging to patterns appropriate for earlier stages of development. The mysterious Pokémon Egg's appearance during this period of change adds elements of anticipation and responsibility, its unknown contents representing potential for new partnerships while requiring careful nurturing that tests the group's collective skills in Pokémon care and development. The egg's eventual hatching into Psyduck creates comedy while adding to Misty's growing collection of unpredictable water types whose abilities defy conventional understanding and strategic planning. Her team's increasing complexity reflecting the diversity of approaches possible within specialized training focus. Bulbasaur's refusal to evolve despite reaching appropriate level and encountering evolutionary catalyst demonstrates that personal choice plays a crucial role in development decisions. The grass type's satisfaction with its current form, reflecting contentment that transcends conventional assumptions about progress and advancement. This decision mirrors Pikachu's earlier rejection of Thunderstone evolution while establishing precedent for respecting individual preferences rather than imposing external expectations about optimal development paths. Team Rocket's acquisition of Lickitung adds new dimension to their criminal capabilities while showcasing the normal type's unusual combat style that relies on tongue-based attacks and grappling techniques rather than conventional offensive strategies. The pink Pokémon's cheerful personality, creating contrast with its effectiveness in battle situations that demand creative approaches to opponent manipulation and control. The addition demonstrates that even incompetent criminals can occasionally acquire formidable partners whose abilities exceed their trainer's capacity for strategic thinking and tactical coordination. The sea journey toward Cinnabar Island unfolds across waters that grow progressively warmer as volcanic activity beneath the ocean floor heats the surrounding currents, creating unique marine ecosystem where fire-type Pokémon can somehow thrive alongside their aquatic neighbors. in defiance of conventional type theory and biological wisdom. The ferry's passage through these thermal zones provides educational opportunities about the complex relationships between elemental forces that seem contradictory on the surface, but create remarkable synergy when properly understood and balanced. Steam rises from the waves in certain areas where underwater volcanic vents release superheated water that supports specialized communities of Pokémon adapted to extreme temperature variations. Cinnabar Island emerges from the ocean like a monument to geological power, its volcanic slopes rising dramatically from deep water, while wisps of steam escape from countless thermal vents scattered across the landscape, creating atmosphere that speaks to the tremendous forces contained just beneath the island's deceptively peaceful surface. The settlement itself has grown around natural hot springs and geothermal features. Its architecture, incorporating volcanic stone and heat-resistant materials, while taking advantage of the abundant geothermal energy that provides both power and comfortable living conditions, despite the potentially dangerous environment. The island's commitment to working with natural forces, rather than attempting to control them, creates harmony between human habitation and geological activity. The Cinnabar Laboratory stands as testament to humanity's endless curiosity about the mysteries of Pokémon biology and evolution. Its research facilities combining cutting-edge scientific equipment with ancient fossil specimens, while maintaining the kind of sterile environment necessary for serious paleontological investigation and genetic analysis. Dr. Fuji and his colleagues represent the intersection of theoretical knowledge and practical application, their work revealing secrets about Pokémon origins while raising ethical questions about the limits of scientific inquiry and genetic manipulation. The facility serves as a reminder that knowledge carries responsibility, particularly when dealing with life forms whose complexity and consciousness demand respect rather than mere clinical investigation. The fossil resurrection technology showcased within these sterile chambers demonstrates humanity's growing capacity to bridge the gap between extinction and life. Ancient DNA preserved in stone yielding to modern techniques that can recreate creatures from eras when the world operated according to different rules and biological principles. The process requires delicate balance between scientific precision and respectful acknowledgement that these beings once lived and breathed in environments that no longer exist. Their resurrection raising questions about whether humanity has the right to return extinct species to a world that may no longer be capable of supporting their needs or accommodating their nature. Blaine's presence on the island combines roles of gym leader, researcher, and volcano monitoring specialist. His deep understanding of both fire-type Pokémon and geological processes, making him uniquely qualified to maintain safe training facilities in an environment where natural disasters represent constant potential threat. His eccentric personality masks serious expertise developed through decades of living and working in close proximity to volcanic activity while studying the remarkable adaptations that allow certain Pokémon species to thrive in conditions that would prove lethal to most living creatures. His approach to training emphasizes respect for natural power, while teaching visitors about the delicate balance between harnessing elemental forces and avoiding catastrophic consequences. The gym leader's famous riddle challenges reflect his belief that wisdom and knowledge should precede access to power. His cryptic questions designed to test whether challengers possess not just battle skills, but the kind of intellectual depth necessary for understanding the serious responsibilities that accompany advanced fire-type training. The riddles serve as educational tools that force visitors to consider aspects of Pokémon biology and environmental science that casual trainers often overlook in their focus on immediate competitive advantage and league advancement. This philosophical approach ensures that only seriously committed students gain access to the advanced training techniques and dangerous knowledge that characterize master-level fire-type specialization. The underground gym complex carved into the island's volcanic foundation creates training environment that harnesses natural geothermal energy while providing protection from potential eruptions and seismic activity. Its design reflecting years of engineering expertise applied to the challenge of creating safe spaces within inherently dangerous geological conditions. The facility's lava-filled chambers and superheated training areas push both Pokémon and trainers to their absolute limits, while maintaining safety protocols that prevent serious injury during practice sessions that approach real combat intensity. The environment serves as ultimate testing ground for fire-type partnerships, while demonstrating the kind of extreme conditions that serious specialists must learn to navigate safely and effectively. Ash's initial challenge against Blaine's formidable Ninetales ends in defeat that demonstrates the substantial gap between casual fire-type experience and true mastery of this demanding specialization. The Fox Pokémon's sophisticated flame control and tactical awareness, overwhelming his team's limited preparation for high-temperature combat and advanced pyrotechnic techniques. The loss serves as humbling reminder that each gym presents unique challenges, requiring specialized knowledge and strategic adaptation. Generic battle approaches, proving inadequate when faced with opponents whose entire training philosophy focuses on maximizing specific elemental advantages. The experience forces serious reconsideration of training methods while highlighting areas where fundamental knowledge gaps must be addressed before attempting such challenging confrontations. The rematch preparation requires intensive study of fire-type behavior and physiology, combined with practical experience in high-temperature environments. Ash's growing understanding of volcanic conditions and thermal dynamics providing tactical insights that transform previously insurmountable challenges into manageable obstacles through proper planning and environmental adaptation. Brock's expertise in geology and mineral composition proves invaluable in developing strategies that take advantage of the gym's unique conditions, while his knowledge of heat-resistant materials helps protect team members unaccustomed to extreme temperature variations. This collaborative approach to problem-solving demonstrates the value of diverse expertise when facing specialized challenges that exceed individual capabilities. Charizard's participation in the rematch against Blaine's Magmar creates unprecedented drama as the rebellious, dragon-like Pokémon finally encounters opponent worthy of its newfound power and pride. The battle between these formidable fire types generating heat and intensity that tests the gym's safety systems while showcasing the kind of spectacular combat that defines master-level fire-type competition. The confrontation becomes personal contest between alpha predators rather than mere training exercise, each participant's pride and territorial instincts driving them toward maximum effort and spectacular displays of elemental mastery that captivate all witnesses. The fire-type showdown unfolds with earth-shaking intensity as Charizard's aerial superiority clashes with Magmar's ground-based power, their opposing styles, creating dynamic battle that demonstrates the full spectrum of fire-type tactical possibilities, while testing both trainers' ability to coordinate with partners whose strength and independence make direct control impossible. Victory comes not through perfect obedience, but through mutual respect and shared objective. Charizard's decision to fully engage, reflecting its recognition that this opponent deserves serious effort rather than casual dismissal. The triumph validates both Pokémon's pride, while demonstrating that even the most independent partners will cooperate when faced with challenges that inspire rather than demand their participation. The Volcano Badge earned through this spectacular confrontation represents more than mere progress toward league qualification, symbolizing successful navigation of partnership challenges that extend far beyond simple battle tactics to encompass complex psychological dynamics between strong-willed individuals who must learn to work together despite fundamental differences in personality and approach. Blaine's respect for both trainer and Pokémon acknowledges the rare achievement of maintaining effective cooperation with partner whose power and independence could easily lead to complete breakdown of traditional trainer Pokémon. Relationships. This recognition carries special weight, coming from someone whose own expertise required decades of study and practical experience to develop safely. The mysterious presence detected during their island stay hints at forces beyond normal human or Pokémon capabilities. Psychic disturbances and unexplained phenomena, suggesting that Cinnabar's volcanic activity may serve purposes more complex than simple geological processes. Research conducted at the laboratory has attracted attention from entities whose intentions remain unclear, while their power exceeds anything documented in conventional Pokémon studies, creating atmosphere of anticipation and concern that extends far beyond local environmental monitoring and safety protocols. These subtle signs suggest that major events may be developing beyond the awareness of most island residents, their implications reaching far beyond individual trainer journeys. The return journey to Viridian City for the final gym badge carries weight of approaching culmination, in months of travel and training having transformed inexperienced boy into capable trainer, whose team reflects both growth and hard-earned wisdom about the complexities of interspecies partnerships and competitive excellence. The familiar landscapes passed in reverse order create opportunities for reflection on how much has changed since the early days of uncertain first steps and basic mistakes, each location holding memories of challenges overcome and lessons learned through sometimes painful experience. The circular nature of the journey emphasizes themes of growth and return, while preparing for ultimate test of everything acquired during months of adventure and discovery. Gary's unexpected presence in Viridian creates reunion charged with competitive tension and mutual curiosity about respective development during months of separate adventures, his confident demeanor and impressive team suggesting continued progress toward goals that mirror Ash's own ambitions while maintaining the superior attitude that characterized their childhood rivalry. The revelation that Gary has somehow acquired 10 badges instead of the standard 8 raises questions about alternative routes to league qualification, while demonstrating the kind of overachievement that has always marked their repetitive relationship. This superiority in measurable accomplishments creates psychological pressure while highlighting differences in their approaches to trainer development and goal achievement. The shocking sight of Gary's defeat by mysterious Pokémon whose power transcends anything encountered during their journey creates ominous atmosphere that suggests Viridian Gym's final challenge may exceed all previous tests in both difficulty and significance. The unknown opponent's abilities apparently sufficient to humble even the most accomplished young trainers despite their considerable experience and carefully developed teams. The identity of this formidable adversary remains concealed, while its demonstration of overwhelming capability serves as warning about the serious challenges awaiting those who presume to contest for league participation without adequate preparation and respect for the forces they may encounter. The revelation of Giovanni's dual identity as both Team Rocket's supreme leader and Viridian Gym's absent leader creates stunning convergence of criminal conspiracy and legitimate trainer institutions, his massive power and influence extending far beyond simple organized crime to encompass corruption of the very systems designed to evaluate and certify trainer competence for advanced competition. His partnership with legendary Pokémon represents resources that dwarf anything available to conventional trainers, while his strategic position within league hierarchy provides access to information and influence that could shape competitive outcomes according to personal agenda, rather than merit-based selection. Mewtwo's presence as Giovanni's ally introduces elements of genetic manipulation and artificial enhancement that challenge fundamental assumptions about natural Pokémon development and the ethical limits of scientific advancement. The psychic type's incredible power stemming from human interference with evolutionary processes, rather than natural development over geological timescales. The creature's existence raises profound questions about the responsibility that comes with creating artificial life, while demonstrating capabilities that exceed anything documented in natural Pokémon populations. Its strength and intelligence representing both triumph of scientific achievement and potential catastrophe, if such power cannot be controlled or properly directed. Giovanni's mysterious departure from Viridian Gym creates power vacuum that allows Team Rocket's incompetent operatives temporary control over facilities they are completely unqualified to manage. Their assumption of leadership roles creating farcical situation where criminal organizations' least capable members must somehow fulfill legitimate gym leader responsibilities. Jesse and James's attempt to conduct official battles while maintaining their cover provides comedy, while demonstrating their fundamental unsuitability for any position requiring actual competence or responsibility. Their inevitable defeat serving as anticlimax that contrasts sharply with the serious implications of Giovanni's broader schemes and mysterious agenda. The Earth badge earned through confrontation with Team Rocket's bumbling substitutes feels hollow, despite its technical legitimacy. The victory over opponents whose incompetence makes success inevitable, providing little satisfaction while raising questions about the meaningful standards and authentic challenges that should characterize official league preparation. The badge represents progress towards stated goals, while highlighting the difference between earned achievement and circumstantial luck, its acquisition serving as reminder that external validation means little without corresponding internal growth and genuine mastery of required skills and knowledge. The return to Pallet Town for rest and preparation before league competition creates opportunity for reflection and renewal of familiar surroundings, providing comfort and perspective, while Professor Oak's laboratory offers resources necessary for final team optimization and strategic planning. The homecoming demonstrates how much has changed during months of adventure, while reaffirming connections to community and support systems that provide foundation for individual achievement and personal growth. The preparation period allows consolidation of experiences and knowledge, while ensuring that physical and psychological readiness match the importance of challenges ahead. Mr. Mime's integration into the Ketchum household adds elements of domestic comedy, while showcasing the psychic type's remarkable abilities and surprisingly helpful personality, its presence creating new family dynamics while providing Ash's mother with companionship during his extended absence. The Pokemon's domestic skills and protective instincts make it valuable household member, while its psychic abilities create occasional confusion and amusing mishaps that demonstrate the challenges of cohabitation between humans and creatures whose capabilities transcend normal understanding of what constitutes appropriate behavior in civilized settings. The journey to Indigo Plateau unfolds through landscapes that grow progressively more majestic and imposing, mountain peaks rising like natural cathedrals toward skies that seem wider and more filled with possibility than anywhere else in the Kanto region, while ancient paths worn smooth by generations of hopeful trainers wind upward toward the legendary arena where dreams either find fulfillment or face the harsh reality of superior competition. The air grows thinner and more charged with anticipation as altitude increases, each step forward carrying weight of months of preparation, while the distant sounds of training battles echo from camps established by competitors who arrived early to acclimatize their teams to the unique conditions that characterize this sacred ground of Pokémon competition. The Indigo Stadium emerges from the mountain landscape like a monument to human ambition and architectural achievement, its massive structure capable of accommodating thousands of spectators while providing optimal battle conditions for the most important competitive matches in the entire region. Every design element carefully planned to showcase Pokémon abilities, while ensuring safety for both participants and observers during conflicts that regularly reach devastating intensity levels. The building's integration with natural rock formations creates harmony between human construction and geological majesty that speaks to respectful cooperation between civilization and the wild environments that sustain all life. Moltres' appearance to ignite the ceremonial torch transforms routine opening ceremony into a moment of transcendent beauty and spiritual significance. The legendary fire and flying type's golden flames, casting dancing shadows across the stadium, while its majestic presence serves as reminder that some forces transcend human understanding and control, existing according to their own mysterious purposes, while occasionally choosing to interact with mortal affairs in ways that feel like blessings from cosmic powers beyond normal comprehension. The Phoenix-like Pokemon's participation in league ceremonies suggests divine approval for the competitive structures that bring trainers together in pursuit of excellence and mutual growth. The flame itself burns with intensity that seems to draw energy from sources beyond normal fuel consumption, its brilliant light visible from throughout the plateau, while its warmth provides comfort to competitors whose nerves might otherwise overwhelm them during this crucial testing period. When months or years of preparation face ultimate evaluation through direct competition against similarly dedicated and capable opponents. The eternal flame serves as focal point for meditation and inspiration, while symbolizing the enduring nature of dreams and the persistent human drive toward achievement and recognition that motivates all serious competitive endeavor. The preliminary rounds unfold with systematic efficiency, as hundreds of trainers face elimination through battles that reveal both strengths carefully developed during long journeys and weaknesses that prove fatal when exposed to opponents whose preparation and natural talent exceed their own capabilities and strategic understanding. Each match tells story of dedication and disappointment, while demonstrating the narrow margins that separate victory from defeat. When skill levels approach, parity and psychological factors become decisive elements in determining outcomes that will shape entire futures and career trajectories. Ash's progression through early elimination rounds showcases his growth from impulsive beginner into capable strategist who can adapt tactics to exploit opponent weaknesses while minimizing his own team's vulnerabilities, each victory building confidence while revealing areas where continued improvement remains necessary for success against increasingly formidable opposition. His use of Pokémon who rarely see competitive action demonstrates both tactical creativity and emotional intelligence that recognizes how different team members can contribute unique advantages when given appropriate opportunities to showcase their specialized capabilities. Krabby's evolution into Kingler during crucial battle creates dramatic turning point that transforms potential defeat into spectacular victory. The water type's newfound size and power overwhelming opponent defenses that seemed insurmountable just moments before the evolutionary transformation occurred with perfect timing to save match that appeared hopelessly lost. The Crab Pokemon's dedication, despite limited training time with Ash, demonstrates loyalty that transcends mere battle statistics while proving that bonds formed through genuine care can inspire extraordinary effort when circumstances demand maximum commitment and performance. The tactical sophistication displayed during these matches reflects months of accumulated experience and learning from defeats that taught valuable lessons about preparation, adaptability, and the psychological dimensions of competitive success that extend far beyond simple type matchups and statistical advantages. Each battle requires reading opponent intentions while concealing strategic plans until optimal moments for implementation, creating mental chess games that test intelligence and intuition alongside Pokémon capabilities and training quality. Gary's early elimination by Melissa and her formidable golem serves as shocking reminder that reputation and past success provide no guarantee against opponents who combine solid preparation with favorable matchups and superior salve. Tactical execution when pressure situations demand peak performance from all participants. His fourth-round defeat demonstrates that even the most accomplished young trainers remain vulnerable to specific strategies that exploit overlooked weaknesses while highlighting the unpredictable nature of single elimination. Competition, where one mistake or oversight can end campaigns built through years of dedicated effort. The psychological impact of witnessing his primary rival's elimination creates complex emotions that combine satisfaction with genuine concern for Gary's emotional state. Their competitive relationship, complicated by underlying respect and shared history that transcends simple antagonism, despite surface tensions created by contrasting personalities and approaches to trainer development. The defeat serves as warning about the serious level of competition awaiting in advanced rounds, while removing familiar measuring stick that has provided motivation throughout their parallel journeys toward league qualification. Melissa's victory over Gary demonstrates the kind of specialized expertise that can overcome more general tactical knowledge when applied with precision and confidence against opponents whose preparation failed to account for specific strategic approaches. Her ground-type focus, creating advantages that generic battle experience cannot easily counter without specialized knowledge and appropriate team composition. Her success illustrates the value of deep specialization, while showing how focused dedication to particular strategies can triumph over broader but less intensive preparation methods. The advancement to elimination rounds where individual losses mean tournament termination creates atmosphere charged with tension and desperate hope, as remaining competitors realize that each battle could represent the culmination of their competitive dreams or the end of everything they have worked toward achieving. The stakes transform routine matches into epic confrontations, where every decision carries weight of potential regret, while pressure situations reveal character traits that casual battles never expose or test adequately. Ash's encounter with Richie provides fascinating study in parallel development and similar philosophical approaches to Pokémon training. The other trainer's habit of naming his partners, reflecting deeper emotional investment and individual recognition that transcends functional utility, while demonstrating alternative methods for achieving the kind of bonds that characterize successful competitive partnerships. Their matching enthusiasm and tactical creativity create battles that showcase the sport's potential for exciting entertainment, while highlighting how different personalities can reach similar conclusions about optimal training methodologies. Sparky's resemblance to Pikachu extends beyond simple species identification to encompass shared attitudes and capabilities that suggest similar developmental paths despite different training environments and strategic applications. The parallel electric types, demonstrating how individual relationships shape Pokémon growth in ways that transcend genetic predisposition and statistical potential. The mirror match dynamic creates a unique competitive situation where tactical innovation becomes crucial for distinguishing between otherwise equivalent capabilities and preparation levels. The battle between these evenly matched trainers unfolds with dramatic intensity as creative strategies clash with equally inventive countermeasures. Each participant's adaptability tested by opponent moves that require immediate adjustment and innovative responses, rather than relying on predetermined tactical patterns or memorized strategic sequences. The match demonstrates competitive Pokémon training at its finest, while showcasing the kind of dynamic adaptation that separates great trainers from merely competent ones, who succeed through superior preparation rather than tactical brilliance under pressure. Charizard's ultimate act of defiance during the crucial battle with Richie creates heartbreaking climax to their tournament run. As the fire and flying types' refusal to engage seriously transforms probable victory into inevitable defeat, its casual dismissal of strategic importance, demonstrating how partnership problems can undermine even the most careful preparation and tactical planning when psychological factors override competitive objectives and team coordination, completely breaks down during decisive moments. The sight of Charizard lounging indifferently while Pikachu faces overwhelming odds alone captures the essence of their relationship crisis in single, devastating image that highlights how evolution and increased power have created partnership dynamics that conventional trainer techniques cannot address adequately. The dragon-like Pokémon's independence having reached levels that threaten fundamental cooperation necessary for competitive success. This betrayal cuts deeper than simple battle loss, because it represents failure of human Pokémon bonds that seemed strong enough to overcome any challenge through mutual commitment and shared objectives. The tournament elimination creates profound disappointment that extends beyond personal ambition to encompass concerns about team unity and partnership effectiveness. Charizard's behavior raising questions about whether their relationship can ever recover sufficiently to support the kind of cooperation that serious competitive success demands, when individual talent must integrate with coordinated promises, with coordinated behind team effort. The loss teaches harsh lessons about the difference between powerful partners and reliable teammates, while highlighting psychological complexities that pure strength cannot resolve without corresponding emotional maturity and commitment to collective goals. Richie's advancement to top 8 demonstrates how consistent team coordination and tactical flexibility can triumph over superior individual capabilities when partnership problems undermine strategic implementation, his success serving as object lesson about the importance of maintaining effective communication and mutual respect. Even when dealing with strong-willed partners whose capabilities might tempt them toward independent action rather than collaborative effort, the tournament's conclusion brings mixed emotions, as competitive disappointment combines with genuine satisfaction derived from personal growth and friendship formation during months of challenging preparation and intense competition. Against worthy opponents who tested both capabilities and character, through experiences that revealed strengths and weaknesses previously hidden or unacknowledged. The League provides education that extends far beyond battle tactics to encompass life lessons about perseverance, adaptation, and the value of relationships that transcend immediate competitive objectives. The bonds formed with fellow competitors like Richie demonstrate how shared passion for Pokémon training can create understanding that bridges differences in background, philosophy, and strategic approach, while providing foundation for lifelong friendships based on mutual respect rather than competitive rivalry or superficial social connections. These relationships prove more valuable than trophies or rankings because they offer support and inspiration that will endure long after specific tournament results fade from memory. The closing ceremony's emphasis on participation and growth, rather than simple victory rankings, reflects deeper wisdom about the true purpose of competitive structures that exist primarily to encourage personal development and excellence, rather than creating arbitrary hierarchies based solely on tournament performance during brief testing periods. The League's recognition that learning and friendship matter as much as winning validates alternative measures of success while encouraging continued participation despite temporary setbacks or disappointing outcomes. Professor Oak's presence throughout the competition provides continuity and perspective that connects current achievements to longer developmental arc. Beginning with that fateful morning when oversleeping led to partnership with rebellious Pikachu, his observations highlighting growth that statistics cannot measure while offering encouragement based on comprehensive understanding of individual progress rather than simple comparison with other participants' immediate performance. The return journey to Pallet Town creates opportunities for reflection and consolidation, as familiar landscapes provide comfort while serving as backdrop for processing lessons learned and planning future directions based on enhanced understanding of personal strengths and areas requiring continued development and improvement. The circular nature of the trip emphasizes themes of growth and return while preparing for whatever adventures await beyond immediate tournament objectives and league competition structure. Misty and Brock's continued friendship despite tournament conclusion demonstrates how shared experiences create bonds that transcend the specific circumstances that initially brought people together. Their commitment to mutual support and continued adventure, reflecting genuine relationships that have developed through months of cooperation and shared challenge, rather than mere convenience or temporary alliance based on complementary goals and compatible travel directions. The team dynamics that have evolved throughout their journey showcase how individual Pokémon have grown not just in power and capability but in personality and relationship complexity, each member contributing unique strengths while presenting ongoing challenges that require continued attention and adaptive training approaches. Rather than assuming that current arrangements represent permanent solutions to partnership, management, and tactical coordination requirements, the gentle rhythm of waves lapping against Pallet Town's familiar shoreline creates a peaceful soundtrack for reflection. As this extraordinary journey draws to its quiet close, the same waters that once carried dreams toward distant horizons now welcoming home, a trainer transformed by months of adventure, challenge, and discovery. The sun sets slowly over the landscape where everything began, painting the sky in soft pastels that mirror the tranquil satisfaction that comes from completing a meaningful chapter while knowing that countless new adventures await just beyond the horizon. From that first chaotic morning when oversleeping led to an unlikely partnership with a rebellious, electric type, to the grand stages of Indigo Plateau where dreams faced the ultimate test of competitive reality, every step of this journey has woven together moments of triumph and heartbreak, friendship and rivalry, growth and loss into a tapestry of experience that will inform all future adventures. The transformation from impulsive 10-year-old into thoughtful trainer, capable of inspiring loyalty in the most challenging partners, while maintaining compassion for both victory and defeat, represents growth that extends far beyond mere battle statistics or badge collection, encompassing lessons about responsibility, friendship, and the delicate balance between ambition and wisdom that defines true maturity. Each Pokémon encountered along the way has contributed unique insights about trust, courage, and the infinite variety of forms that love and loyalty can take when different species choose to share their lives, despite fundamental differences in nature and need. The bonds forged through shared danger and mutual protection have proven stronger than any training manual could predict, while the partings that marked various stages of the journey have taught equally valuable lessons about letting go when love demands sacrifice of personal desire for another's greater good. The circular nature of returning to Pallet Town carries symbolic weight that speaks to cycles of growth and renewal, each ending becoming a new beginning, as experience transforms familiar landscapes into launching points for greater adventures yet to come. Professor Oak's laboratory still hums with the same quiet energy that once seemed so mysterious to eager young eyes, but now represents not just a destination, but a way station where knowledge is preserved and shared between generations of trainers who have walked similar paths while discovering their own unique approaches to the art of Pokémon. Partnership. The Pokédex that began empty now contains memories and data from encounters that have enriched understanding, while revealing how much more remains to be discovered in a world where new species and evolutionary mysteries continue to emerge from hidden corners and unexplored regions. The friendships that began in conflict and misunderstanding have deepened into bonds that transcend the circumstances of their formation. Misty's initial antagonism about a destroyed bicycle evolving into genuine affection and mutual respect that will endure long after the practical reasons for traveling together have been resolved or forgotten. Brock's dream of becoming a master breeder has found direction and purpose through hands-on experience that no classroom could provide, his gentle wisdom and practical expertise proving invaluable not just for Pokémon care, but for maintaining group harmony during stressful situations that tested everyone's patience and adaptability. These relationships demonstrate how shared challenges can forge connections between individuals whose paths might never have crossed under normal circumstances, creating chosen family bonds that complement but do not replace biological relationships and childhood connections. Even the most difficult partnerships have provided essential growth opportunities that revealed hidden depths of character and capability. Charizard's rebellion forcing development of patience and humility, while teaching harsh lessons about the difference between commanding respect and earning it through consistent demonstration of worthy leadership and genuine care for partners' welfare beyond their utility in achieving personal goals. The fire type's refusal to simply obey commands has created ongoing challenges that demand creative solutions and adaptive thinking, transforming what could have been mere frustration into opportunities for deeper understanding about the complex psychology of powerful creatures who possess their own opinions about appropriate behavior and tactical priorities. Team Rocket's persistent appearances throughout the journey have provided comic relief while serving as reminders that not all human Pokémon relationships are based on mutual respect and genuine affection. Their exploitation of partners for selfish criminal purposes, creating stark contrast with the caring partnerships that define successful training, while demonstrating how different philosophical approaches to creature care produce dramatically different outcomes in terms of loyalty, effectiveness, and long-term sustainability. Their inevitable defeats and dramatic exits have become familiar rituals that punctuate more serious adventures, with moments of levity that prevent the journey's challenges from overwhelming its joyful aspects. The legendary encounters that marked significant milestones along the way have provided glimpses into mysteries that extend far beyond normal trainer experience. From Ho-Oh's blessing during that first stormy night to Moltres' ceremonial participation in league opening ceremonies, these divine appearances suggesting that greater forces take interest in mortal affairs while maintaining appropriate distance from everyday concerns and competitive rivalries. These moments of transcendence have served as reminders that individual dreams and ambitions exist within larger contexts where natural forces and ancient wisdom continue to influence events according to patterns that human understanding can only partially comprehend. As consciousness begins to drift toward the peaceful realm of sleep and dreams, imagine yourself walking beside these beloved characters through landscapes painted in moonlight and starshine, where gentle breezes carry the sounds of Pokémon settling down for restful slumber, while distant mountains stand guard over valleys filled with the soft breathing of creatures, great and small, finding comfort in the safety of night's embrace. The air is warm and still, filled with the subtle fragrance of night-blooming flowers and the faint electrical glow that emanates from Pikachu's contented presence as it curls up beside its beloved trainer. their bond now so strong that even sleep cannot diminish the connection forged through months of shared adventure and mutual protection. In this tranquil moment between waking and sleeping, between the completion of one great adventure and the beginning of countless others yet to come, there is perfect peace and infinite possibility. Stretching ahead like roads not yet traveled toward destinations not yet imagined, but surely filled with wonder and discovery, waiting for those brave enough to take the first step into the unknown. The gentle rhythm of breathing slows and deepens, as exhaustion earned through epic journeys gives way to the restorative power of dreams, where anything remains possible, and every tomorrow holds promise of new friends to meet, new challenges to overcome, and new lessons to learn about the endless capacity for growth and love that defines the magical world where humans and Pokémon choose to share their lives in harmony and mutual respect.